for the last several weeks around Nolan Wells, and is indicative of many cases around the country that have raised serious questions with racial overtones. Attorney Crump and I are going tomorrow, where I'm doing the eulogy for a young black man in Madison, Wisconsin, homeless, and they say had a knife, and there's the tape of him being shot, 3 cops surrounding him, shot and killed, 4 shots. And these cases building up in a climate of an administration in Washington that we cannot feel will objectively investigate. There was a time that we could say if state authorities fail us, we can go to the Justice Department. Even under George Bush, we went to the Justice Department. We, at this point, have to hope that one, we could deal with civil courts, or secondly, that there's a balance of power with the Democrats taking the House in November, and maybe the Judiciary Committee under that can at least put a check and balance on cases that need to be investigated. But we are right now where we have 2 parents, lovely parents, I've gotten to know them, that really don't have an answer to a question. Is it a civil rights violation or not? And we do not know. How do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play when you haven't even investigated whether there was foul play? How do you trust people that come back from something that happened and never really give you a straight story of what happened, including you have the keys to the car? So when you have more questions than answers, you have to have people that will drive the answers out, and that's what we do. And that's why I've been involved, and that's why we stay involved. And it gets worse and worse and worse. The parent of one of the boys threatening to sue us for asking a question. Imagine that now. Some of y'all call it, what do you feel about the parents? One of the boys said he's going to sue you and Ben Crump. Sue us for what? For saying what happened? So we've gone back that far. And that is why we're going to stand with these parents, because usually, you know, I come from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised there. I don't come from the South. But my mother used to bring me down south to my grandmother in Dothan, Alabama. And Congresswoman, my grandmother told me, you see that pen over there? I said, yes. She said, that's a pen of hogs and pigs. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, always know something. If you take a brick and you throw it in that pile, the hog that hollers is the hog you hit. There's too much hollering going on in Mississippi that we haven't hit something. I can't figure out which one we hit, but we hit something. Because now they talking about lawsuits. They threatening threatening a mother of a child, trying to get her job taken. You wouldn't be hollering if we wasn't hitting something. And we're going to stay on that, and we're going to stay on it all the way. In light of that, before attorney, and I call him the Attorney General of Black America, gives us the legal basis, and then we hear from the parents. Congresswoman who lived herself through dealing with the whole tragedy of her own son. That's how we met, on a plane. She was a flight attendant at the time. And she stopped me on the plane and said, Grandma, why ain't you dealing with my son's case? And we started a relationship. She ended up being elected right here in Georgia and reelected. They redrew her lines, and she was reelected anyhow. The lines couldn't reduce the favor of the people. Congresswoman Lucy McBath.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to say thank you to Reverend Al Sharpton, and also thank you to Attorney Crump for being the armor bearers for this family, the Nolan's family. It's a really, really sad occasion that we're here again. I was just saying to my staff on the way in, it's like this brings back so many vivid memories for me and my own family, having lost Jordan to unnecessary gun violence in November 2012, Black Friday, simply because he was Black and playing loud music in his car. And so here we are again today, here for the loss of another Black young man in our community. And we find ourselves asking the same questions. How did it happen? Why did it happen? And this family stands here demanding answers. This family deserves answers. I myself sought the same justice for my son Jordan that they're seeking for theirs, and they deserve answers, and they deserve justice. Justice that should not be denied this family, or should ever be denied to any of our children or our lost loved ones. As a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm the second vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. We are demanding a full federal investigation. Kash Patel, we're demanding a full federal investigation as to what has actually happened to Nolan Wells. We want to make sure that every stone is unturned because his life matters. All of our children's and our families' lives matter. And we must fight back. We must stand up, and we must demand accountability for this family's loss. We cannot turn a blind eye to what continues to happen again and again and again. That's the reason why I ran for Congress, to make sure that we continue to put a face on what's happening to our families and our communities every single day. We must say Nolan's name. Amen. Say his name. Lift his name. And as the national Black journalist of this country, you have the ability to be able to lift this story and not let it die. We see over and over again these kinds of tragedies in our communities that continue to happen. And they make it to CNN. They make it to MSN Now. They make it to our local news for maybe 30 days, if that. And then the stories are gone. And the carnage is left with the families and the communities that have lost someone that they love. So I thank the National Black Journalists. Thank you for lifting this family story. Do not let it die. Continue to say his name. Continue to tell his story, because they deserve justice, and it matters. It mattered for me. It mattered for Trayvon. It mattered for Eric Brown. It matters for all of our loved ones that we have lost.
As Attorney Crump comes, let me say, as Congressman McBath has said, the caucus has asked federal government to look into it. For those of us that are worried about the politicalization of the present administration, that is why January becomes important, that we have a judiciary committee that can also monitor when investigation happens now or does not happen. So it won't end there. They may come out with any announcement they want in the next month or so. We having a big march August 28th in Washington we must deal with voting rights. So we have the right people in so we can check and balance. I want to say to people in Mississippi, whatever investigation you come with, once we have a fair and balanced government, your investigation will be investigated. It will not end with what they say in Mississippi. Attorney General of Black America, Benjamin Crump.
Thank you so much, Mentor. Reverend Allen, thank you for helping not only lead the effort to get to the truth, but keeping this family in your prayers as you have done so many more families, giving them support. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Erika Hertz, Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Ahmad Smith. We have the honor of representing the family of Nolan Wells, obviously, you all have come to know his parents, Christine and Elmore Wonsley. And this is hard. I heard Congresswoman Macbeth, who lost her son Jordan almost 12 years ago, and it's still raw and emotional when you hear her talk about the loss of a child. I mean, he's not coming back. And that is the story. Everything else is just, hyperbole, is distractions. The story is what happened to Nolan Wells. Somebody knows something. Somebody saw something. I'm thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton and Mr. Tyler Perry and Terrell Owens and Byron Allen putting up these rewards. I understand others have now put up rewards, and that's good because that means we all have the same objective. We want the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells. And it is urgent. It is urgent because each day that goes by, you worry, will we ever get to the truth? And so that's why we want to thank CBC for calling on the federal authorities and anybody else who has resources to help this family get to the truth of what happened to their son. I know I was talking to Christian Clark, and she said, no, let's make sure that all taxpayers' money that goes to support federal resources apply to our children too. I mean, let's say that nobody should say, oh, it doesn't matter that much because it's a black child. No, it matters. All of our children matter. And so we are going to continue every day to say his name, Attorney Hertz, Attorney Park, Attorney Smith, trying to work with the local district attorney to give them what they need to do a thorough, fair, full, impartial investigation. That's what we're asking for. Everything else is just a distraction because Nolan's birthday is next Wednesday, August 19th. It is going to be extremely difficult for his mother, his father, his family. because this August 19th will be like no other that they've ever had for the last 19 years. I mean, it's a milestone when your child gets to be 18 years old. You try to breathe a little easier, Reverend. Now you say, man, we almost got them there. They're at the cusp of being an adult, cusp of manhood. And you heard how Elmore was working so hard, him and Nolan, his football career. I mean, he had a good start, but this was really going to be his year. I mean, so much hope, so much promise. And then July 4th came, and 4th of July will never be the same to Christine and Elmore. And on the 19th, next Wednesday, his family, we're all asking for prayer for Nolan. I know there's going to be a prayer visual in Ocean Springs. I know Reverend Al is going to work to make sure we're all praying all across the nation. But y'all, let's pray. Can we pray together in unity to say, let's get to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells? Can we do that, America? Can we at least come together in unity on his birthday? Everybody who claimed to ever be a friend of his, can we come together in unity and pray for the truth and try to have love in our hearts for this family, for this brokenhearted mother and father, his sisters and brothers? Can we try to give them grace and give them love and pray for their humanity, for their son who was lost on 4th of July and is never coming back? Is that so much to ask? Let's have a national day of prayer on August 19th, next Wednesday, for Nolan Wells. And at this time, we'll hear from his mother and father, then Erika, and we'll try to answer your questions.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having us, for platforming our son's story. As many of you know, his 19th birthday is next Wednesday. And it's, as the days gets closer, it's definitely getting harder. That realization is really sinking in, that we don't have our son physically here anymore. And I think a lot of people have forgotten. Only thing we want to know is what happened. That's all we want to know, is what happened to our son. Because many parents out there, you still have your children. You still can hug them. You still can call them. You still can celebrate their life with them. And we do not have that anymore. Our lives have forever changed. This new normal is something I would never wish on anyone, not even my worst enemy. The hurt that we feel daily, the conversations that we have to have, not just with each other, but also with our other children as they are grieving as well. So we ask that everyone, please, next Wednesday, join us in prayer. As for us as a family, but also too for everyone out there, but especially for Nolan and the process that we're going through. And again, we thank you so much.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who's constantly keeping our son's story in the forefront. You don't know how much we really appreciate that. Nolan brought life to our family. He was the fun in it. And with his birthday coming up, like my wife said, we have We have to deal with a new normal. Who knows what these years are gonna bring, but we know that these years on August 19th is gonna bring a lot of hurt, some laughter as we think about memories, but as far as our family, a very big piece will no longer be there. We just want the truth. We just want to know what any other parent would want to know. We're asking the questions any parent would ask. And if you feel that something's wrong with that, then that's a problem that you have to deal with. But as far as us and our family, we're just asking for truth, transparency, and to please keep us in your prayers. Next week is going to be a hard week, and the years follow are going to be hard.
Thank you very much, Christian and Elmore. It never gets easy, Reverend Al. And they're asking, I know Reverend Jamal Bryant is coming to Ocean Springs. Anybody who can come to Ocean Springs to be at the prayer visual with them on a Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Please come. And if you can't come, please have prayer visuals in your city and your communities. We need to find out what happened. Attorney Hurts, Attorney Parks, and Reverend Allen, as we're trying to answer your questions. The family, obviously, the motion that they'll try to answer questions if they can. Any questions?
Yeah, what's up?
Hello, my name is Logan John with NABJ.
Yeah, give us where you're calling, where you.
NABJ News.
Okay.
What do you believe accountability and justice for Nolan Wells should look like?
It's very simple. As we always say, if it was your child, what will accountability and justice look like? Well, that's the same thing they want for their child. Whatever it would be for your child, that's the same thing they want. Whatever investigation you would do for your child, that's the same investigation they want. We're not asking for anything special. We just want equal justice for our children too.
And I think that we must be very much emphasizing is they have said, again, here with the press conferences and statements they made throughout, when they started at our headquarters in Harlem speaking to the press, they're not trying to come to a conclusion. The other side did, saying that there was no foul play. They're trying to tell us what happened. And we're going to stand with them on that, and as well as other cases around the country. Yes, sir.
I'm Ezekiel Telemacher with ABC 24. There's been a lot of misinformation and rumors spreading on social media. Is there anything that you guys would like to debunk that you've seen that has stood out to you?
Let me just say this. I wait very.
Well, I mean, I think that social media has distorted a lot. I think for myself and Ben, we're public figures that you're gonna have social media lie on us every day. I don't even know if I'm really here according to social media. But what hurts us is the distortions they've done on the family, where they've harassed her in her job and sent stuff to their house, distorted with the father's question. They didn't ask to be public figures. They only are trying to get justice for their son. So I would just say, whatever social media people are trying to get likes and hits and all, do that against people like me that offered ourselves public. They didn't ask for this. All they want is what happened to their son.
And I'll simply say this because that question has come up, and I released a statement, and I want to be clear about it. We defend the First Amendment rights of content creators reporting on Nolan Wells' case. We stand with content creators, independent journalists, and citizens who are responsibly reporting on the Nolan Wells case and asking legitimate questions in pursuit of truth and accountability. The First Amendment protects robust public discussion on matters of public concern, and those protections are not reserved just for traditional media. We are deeply concerned when cease and desist letters, threatened lawsuits, or other legal pressure become tools to intimidate or silence lawful scrutiny. There is an important difference between knowingly spreading false information and asking questions. Examining, I want to make sure I get it exactly as we said. Okay. There's an important difference between knowingly spreading false information and asking questions, examining evidence, identifying inconsistencies, expressing opinions, and demanding transparency. Reporting should not be silent. Reporting should not be silenced, and legitimate questions should not be met with intimidation. those seeking truth and accountability in the Nolan Wells case have every right to continue asking questions and demanding answers, because we are America and we have a right to the First Amendment that includes Black people and all people.
Oh, tell them so.
Hi, Denise Clay Murray, Philadelphia Hall Monitor. My question is for Congressmember McBath. Has the formal request for the FBI from the Congressional Black Caucus been delivered to the FBI? And what deadline have you given them for a response?
We've actually we've actually written a letter, a formal letter, and has actually it's already been executed. We've already sent it forth. We are giving them time to respond. We did not give them a specific deadline, but we did say that we are expecting to have an answer as soon as we possibly can.
Attorney Crump, Brian Young from CNN, and thank you to the family again for standing here and talking to us. There's been a lot about the meeting that you were supposed to have with the DA's office and the cooperation that they were supposed to be giving. Can you update us and tell us whether or not the family has had any contact with the DA's office? Are they talking with you? Have the investigators put their arms around you at all?
Attorney Eric Hertz and Attorney Parker, please.
I'm Eric Hertz, law firm Eric J. Hertz, PC, and I am heading the independent investigation in this case. I think the first thing, before I get to the exact question, is what's worse than losing a child? Probably nothing. But what makes it horrible is not knowing, and transparency is the key. So with us going into this case as doing an independent investigation, we first thank all the people on stage, all the people that have helped, and we thank you, the media. We have had much communication with the district attorney, and I feel that is confidential. We have cooperated, I can tell you that, and we would just want to cooperate like anyone else would have to cooperate, and we're continuing to do that. The duty to our clients.
Just to address that specifically, you may already realize and already know, there was a meeting on July 15th in Mississippi with the DA's office. At that meeting, there were several things discussed about the investigation regarding Nolan Wells and what happened to him. In that meeting, there were several things that were set out and agreed to, and we expect the DA, as well as our own team, to follow those agreements.
Yes, sir.
It's Greg and it's Greg Dunmore from Post Beat Media out of Detroit, the ABC sister station TV20. Evil prevails when good men and women remain silent when the facts come out, and they will come out. If it indicates that something sinister did not happen and it was a freak accident, will you believe that the truth is still not being revealed? Because if the truth is not going to indicate on some level that something sinister was done, will you not believe it to be something else if the truth is that it was not?
If the truth comes out,
Yes.
and it's clear, then we will accept the truth. That's all we're asking for. And we only have said that the people that are attacking them for raising the question of the truth say the same thing. I think that we've leaned over backwards in every press event, at the funeral, me doing the eulogy, saying we weren't going to prejudge. Yet they keep getting lambasted. Imagine this. You're losing your child and you're being attacked for asking what happened. I mean, they're not political figures. Why are they under attack for asking for the truth? So it's not about us accepting, it's about whether or not those involved can accept. Yeah.
It's anonymous, like Wall Street Times.
Well, they always try to shut us up. I will not be silenced. Yeah, it's on.
Yes, Nehemiah Franklin.
Don't move the mic. Okay.
Try this again. Okay. Yes, Nehemiah Frank with the Black Wall Street Times out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Condolences to you both. My question is for Mr. Wonsley. When you went to Jack's house and he used the past tense and literally said to you, from what you've told us, the media, that the brother, or that he said that Nolan was like a brother a day before the body actually washed up, was that like alarm? Did it send any alarm bells through you at all?
Yes, you said what you said.
Put yourself in a father's shoes and you just found out that your child is missing. The only thing you want to know is where he is. Trying to go back and think about specific words at that moment, I wasn't thinking about that. My mind and my focus was finding my whereabouts of my son.
Hey, Tom Jones.
Amen. Right on, brother.
TV here in Atlanta. I keep hearing about this young lady that Nolan left with. Has anybody managed to talk to her?
I think that what we're trying to carefully do is not impugn the investigation. So a lot of what may and may not have happened in terms of the dialogue with the lawyers and the family would not be prudent to testify on WSB Atlanta.
Tell him.
Hi, my name is Jahara Wilson with Glavity. You're calling on the Department of Justice to open an independent federal review of Nolan's death. What do you believe federal investigators could uncover that local and state authorities?
Let me clarify also, the Congresswoman want to get some clarity.
Also, I do want to clarify that we've given them 7 days to respond. It was 7 days. So I'm sorry about that.
What your question was, what do we hope to get from them, the federal investigation? What anybody will hope. We are taxpayers too. It's the federal resources that can offer resources to help investigate the matter thoroughly.
Right.
And so Nolan was not only Christine and Elmo's child, but when you think about it in a philosophical way, he was all of our children. But by the grace of God, it could be our child next. And as American citizens, we have the absolute right to say our federal government should extend resources for our children like they will extend to everybody else. I would never forget when President Obama, with Reverend Al and I, when Trayvon Martin was unalive. And he said that it's important that we extend all of the resources of the federal government to help this family get to answers of the truth. And that's all you would want if it was your child. That's all they want if their child. Every resource available, help us get to the truth.
And let me say that and answer that. It's important that you understand that when we raise these issues, that's all what we wanted. We raised the issue, I was out front, Ben was the attorney with Trayvon Martin, and we finally got George Zimmerman in court. When the jury said not guilty, we said we disagreed, but we didn't go and attack his parents. We didn't go and chase him down. We accepted that. When we had the killing in Missouri with Michael Brown, and President Obama was president, we asked for the federal government to come in there. Eric Holder and them investigated the case and said there was no federal case that they could bring. We accepted that. So don't act like we don't accept it. We accept it when Michael Brown's case didn't go federal. We accept things when they're fair, but we want them to be fair. That's why I said, as the Congressman said, they're giving them 7 days. The FBI come back either way, but we want it reviewed by the Congress at some point. I'm on my way tomorrow to Madison, Wisconsin, to deal with Ruiz shot on camera. While I'm there, there's a company trying to get a contract that is in business with ICE. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. We look at it from a civil rights point of view. They're dealing with it from their son. This is flesh and blood.
Yes, ma'am.
Susanna Capaluca with NPR. Has the DA said anything to your attorneys regarding the joint investigation of the cell phone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, sorry. Has the DA said anything, given any guidance on the joint investigation of the cell phone?
We are in constant communication, and just like anything, like to address the gentleman sitting next to you. What was your name again?
Great.
Oh,
Yeah, you get 2 shots. Yeah.
this is Greg Dunmore.
Okay. Just to address Greg's question, you know, the truth has to be proven and shown with the methodology, the way they came about. Someone just can't come out and say, hey, you know, I have a Ferrari, and then you believe they have a Ferrari. I don't have a Ferrari. The truth has to be shown. You got to bring them to your garage, show them the title. That's the truth. And yes, we will accept the truth. So the same way with what the young lady sitting next to you is saying, which is we have procedures that the courts require that we as lawyers ethically have to follow in order to turn over evidence. There's chains of custody. There's protected private information. And we are willing, in fact, today, I'm not doing anything the rest of the day, to meet with the FBI and our person, our expert, to go over that phone. And we've made that clear. So we're ready to do that at any moment.
We just want to say one last point on that.
I'll go back up a little bit. So just to clarify, what the agreement was that the DA's office, and this is the Jackson County DA's office, as well as our forensic team, and possibly the FBI, were going to together download and examine the phone. So it's done one time with everybody together, right? This is very common in the law. I mean, what you all may be more used to is when there's a terrible car accident, and then there's an examination of that car, and everybody comes together one time. They don't move that car around, and everybody does their own thing. This is what is supposed to happen. We are waiting for the DA to determine the time, the place, the date. Let us know, and we are going to be there with our forensics team and anybody else, but it's done one time, one examination. We're ready for it to happen.
Julie Walker, Associated Press. Can you give us a sort of a timeline of what's next going forward, including any possible lawsuits that would be filed, not against you, as you had mentioned before, but that you would be filing, and then the completion of the independent autopsy and how that's moving along, and anything else that would be moving forward? And I know you had mentioned you wanted that national day. Other than that, anything in the future?
Well, we want to make.
Hello, you guys. There's 84 of you guys in here. Please share the live. Thank you for the love for the 21 people who show love. They all coming from absolutely Facebook. Definitely appreciate you guys for the love that you are displaying this as well. So like I said, I watch the videos with you guys so I can react with you guys. Y'all, this is messed up. This young man will be 19 in a few days. Not only she's going through shit, right? She has to now deal with, they're going to have a visual, but she has to deal with facing the fact that she cannot wake up and joke and play with her child and surprise him for his birthday. Y'all, that's the most emptiest thing a woman or a man can have in their life when they're proactive in their child's life. That's crazy.
Sure, people understand we're going to follow the truth wherever it leads us. There's been a lot made about we want to come and bring some lawsuit. When Christina and Elmore called me, we weren't thinking about bringing a lawsuit. We were thinking about just helping them get to the truth. That is a vehicle that we can use to get to the truth if the facts tell us that. We send out preservation letters, and everybody said, oh, they're going to sue them. No. We send out preservation letters to preserve the evidence. And in those standard letters, you say litigation is reasonably anticipated to say, don't get rid of the evidence. We're on record that we want to.
And if you saw them, oh well, you got these young men using their quote unquote dead friends name to get money. And y'all, I promise y'all, go look at the first video, not the first, but the second interview with that person. I'm not gonna say no name, and I could call his name because it's not alleged. His face was full when he had that first interview. Now his face, just look how little his face is. And you could tell something is happening. Something, they're up somebody's skirt. I don't know who it is, but they're up somebody's skirt.
Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's what's going to lead us in what we do. It's about the evidence, nothing else. And this family has always said from day one, even when I called Reverend Allen, we talked to him, they have been consistent. We want to know what happened to our child. Everything else is just, it's just clickbait and everything. It's about what happened to our child. Black press, NABJ, we need you now more than ever to keep everybody focused. What happened to this 18-year-old black teenager in Mississippi? Because there have been questions when you look at the history of the Deep South where young black people are unalive and nobody ever gets any answers. Well, we want Nolan Wells not to be like many others that came before him.
And that is why, as I said earlier, August 28th, the anniversary of Dr. King's March, Martin III and I we were doing a huge march in Washington, Lincoln Memorial. This will be highlighted in other cases because these things keep happening, and to protect the right to vote. So we intend to stay out on the battlefield as long as necessary. Yes.
And I'd ask about the independent also.
We understand that Dr. Roger Mitchell made himself available at any point that the district attorney's office and the medical examiner will allow him to come. He's ready, willing, and able to go do it.
Brooklyn Banks with NABJ News. You mentioned just now that multiple cases have happened like this that are similar. What do you think about this case in particular being called race politics?
About this case in particular, what?
Being considered race politics.
I think that the race politics of this case has been the reaction. I think that we're not predetermining that the case was racial. We're determining that the answer, the investigation, has been racially divided, and that's what made it racial.
There you go,
Yeah,
man.
I'll take two more. This is a press conference, not a revival. We're not going to be here all afternoon.
Yes, sir. Not also to be a loud voice. In particular, piggyback on what Attorney Trump said, is it the fact that this happened in Mississippi why it seems to be so difficult to get answers in regards to this young black man's death?
Did you say Trump or rather than Crump? I'm just trying to. Yeah, we're praying for you at the prayer meeting.
I want to keep an open mind. I know there have been several attacks on us just for asking questions, and it's okay. When you think about Mississippi, they attacked all my heroes. The governor's predecessors, they attacked, Ida B. Wells, Medgar Evers, my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall, Dr. Martin Luther King, for saying that we're going to stand up for Black life and Black humanity and the right to Black people to have the Constitution applied to them as American citizens. So I'm unapologetic in my defense of Black life, Black liberty, and Black humanity. God has a calling on all our lives. And when you figure out what that calling is, you don't second guess it. You say, God, I know why I put on this earth, to be there to stand up for our people in times when they have nobody else to stand up for them. And so whether it's Mississippi or anywhere else in the Deep South, or as Malcolm X said, I heard they discriminate against Black people in the South. He said, I guess my definition of the South would be anything beneath the Canadian border. Because last time I checked, they discriminate against Black people all across America. And so what we're saying is we are open-minded. We want to trust them, but we can't be naive. We have to verify everything, as Attorney Hurt said. Whatever conclusions you come to, we want the methodology. Whatever investigation you're doing, we want to know that it's the same investigation that you would do with your child, not treat Nolan any differently. That's what we're trying to do. That's all we're asking.
All right, we're gonna take one more and then we have to take the family out. Jesse Jackson Jr., who has his own radio show.
I represent KDLA today. Let me ask you a question, Reverend Sharp and Reverend Crump, and even the Congresswoman. Nolan Wells's body was found on federal territory, Horn Island, run by the National Park Service. Are you aware of any death investigation opened up by the National Park Service into his death on federal land? First question, actually two parts. There have been 7 arrests made for the swimming pool, also run by the National Park Service. Why the disparity between arrests over the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial and 0 arrests, subpoenas regarding the National Park Service in the case of Nolan Wells?
The answer, and I have the lawyer's answer, is that is why we raised it, thanks to the CBC and Congresswoman, to a federal level, because the federal government has to answer those questions of involvement, because Horn Island is federal property. And while they can have a grand jury indict around the reflection pool, then announce they're pulling back the charges, now have with a new special grand jury. They done went to a pool twice and haven't come to Horn Island one time, and it was federal property. So I think that the contradiction there is why we keep raising the question.
And also too, as a matter of record, being in Congress, there is federal oversight. And I sit on Judiciary Committee in Congress. We also have the Senate Judiciary Committee. And oftentimes there are a lot of these kinds of investigations that come before us because we have the authority for oversight. So since this is considered, at this point, would be considered something of national federal interest, that is the reason why we're asking for the accountability to make sure that this is not just swept under the rug.
And I'll say in conclusion, thank you to the media. Now more than ever, the 4th branch of government, we need you. NABJ, we need you now more than ever. We're talking about Nolan Wells, but remember, there were 2 other 18-year-old Black teenagers who were unalive in highly questionable situations. Tyler Smith and David Urban. And we need to be talking about these children. We got, the young lady, Alyssa Hackett, who was, brutalized by a state trooper and who cursed her. She's a tiny Black teenager. And, Reverend Allen, as we were looking at the video, as a girl dad, if a police officer can't have an interaction with a Black teenage girl without body slamming her, cursing her, and punching her in the face, what does that say about where we're at in America in 2026? This is about covering those stories, even when.
Y'all so tired of hearing where are we at in 2026. We right where we at when Martin Luther King done brought us over into their system. When they agreed to stuff that we didn't want them to agree with. We right still there. The difference is there are some people, especially Black women, are saying F all it. We gonna get our degrees, we gonna get our house, we gonna get our shelters, and they still mad. They even want to go in the judicial system and still try to X degrees out so that women won't look like they're leading above white men. And I'm sorry, it's the truth. So my thing is to you guys, What do you think? Like, this stuff is crazy.
People who may run your news outlets don't want you to cover the stories. We need you to give us a voice in the tradition of Ida B. Wells. We can't have the police just writing the narratives and the reports. We need you all writing those narrative reports. And you got to challenge your white counterparts and say it. Ida B. Wells said famously, Reverend Al, the killers write the police reports. No,
Wow.
we need NABJ to write the reports and the narratives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all, what do y'all think, y'all? What do y'all think? You say Nolan Wells' phone. I don't want to listen to you, girl. Let me see. What Lemon got to say? Come on. Topic, Nolan Wells' phone update. That was a day ago. Not worried about that. Let me see what she's talking about.
And we see your humanity. And we're going to center that. And we see your humanity. And we're going to center that in this conversation. There you go. Here. As you're telling us about the last time you saw your baby boy, I want you to talk to us about and we see your humanity.
I'm gonna blow it
and
up.
We're going to
y'all.
center that in this conversation. There you go. Here. As you're telling us about the last time you saw your baby boy, I want you to talk to us about who Nolan was and tell us about that day.
Nolan is and was an incredible, just incredible soul. He was the person who, no matter where you were in life, what was going on, he was going to be your biggest cheerleader. That's the kind of person he was. He was God-fearing, God-loving. That boy had faith beyond measure. He was just a bright light. And he was our bright light.
We can't ignore the ugly racial history of Mississippi. I looked into the demographics of the Jackson County Sheriff Department. It's quite asymmetrical, but also just the general attitude and the lack of value when it comes to Black life. Does this sound like a normal process?
We are trying to cooperate everything we can do to say, hey, we want to help, but we want you to give them a thorough investigation. We want you to do for him what you would do for your child.
When they told me that law enforcement said there is no foul play, that's a prejudgment. Second, the parents of the guys that were with him started talking about they was going to sue us for getting involved. And sue, I don't even know the kid's name. So you can't say I defame your son. I don't know your son's name. But I will say this on this stage, I want them to sue me first. And I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. Because I want to depose your son. If you sue, the plaintiffs are deposed.
And we see your humanity. And we're going to center that in this conversation.
Okay, let's go back. So I had to move around. Okay, y'all see? Hold up, look at his face. Y'all look, just look. Oh, Lord. Let me see. Can I? All right, let's go.
Nolan Wells friends can't hide what they're hiding for much longer. And for legal reasons, I have to tell you guys to use your imagination when I say they can't hide what they're hiding for much longer. Things are coming out
And
at
everything
a pace
on
we've
here
never
is
seen before,
wait.
and every single
Before I get into this, things that we said we're doing it's alleged, okay? Everything. You got to say alleged. I'm not worried about that sue stuff, but at the end of the day, we're going to say alleged. Keep it cute. Keep it going. You guys are smart people. We have this thing called nature. The motherly nature. You get what I'm saying? We have what you call motherly nature, okay? So let's get into it.
detail is contradictory to whatever story they're telling the public lately. There's been some new evidence that have surfaced in the last 48 hours that completely debunks their response to the CETO call, their response to the GPS data, their response to the last time they seen Nolan.
Okay, you guys, just look. I'm gonna blow this up as big as I can. And I want you to just look at everybody and go back to any video that's been interview that's being done and look at the side. Just look. Just look. I'm gonna blow it up. Hold up. I thought okay, it was blowed up. Just look at the size of people. Just not saying them or anything, not any of them, but just be smart. Just look. Baby.
Nolan, the response to Nolan not being on the boat. But before we get there, let's rewind a little bit to the beginning so we can get their idea of their entire timeline. And I'm going to be using the help of my girl, J. Megan. Now, this is the complete timeline of what they're saying took place.
Okay, this is my full Nolan Wells timeline with my supporting evidence. There were 3 votes in their group that day: Palm Beach, the Triton, and the Tideline. By the way, if you like my work, you can support me in my bio, because by the end of this video, I'll be dropping never before seen evidence. Anyway, back to the timeline. Warren said they got there at 10:30, even though the GPS said that they dropped their waypoint at 11:19. He said the Tidecraft, the Palm Beach, and the Triton were all like anchored up next to each other. At 3 o'clock, he gets into a fight with some stranger who didn't like the way that he was talking to his girlfriend, because, I mean, look at the way he was talking in this interview. I don't blame them. And they had a fist fight. His uncle was like, "We're getting the hell out of here."
I remember at one point in time, I look over and I see my uncle, and my uncle's yelling at me to get in the boat. I stopped fighting. As soon as me and him made eye contact, I got in the boat.
Then Warren says that his brother was also involved in the same fight.
He'll come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in a fight." And obviously, I have a younger brother, and that's what she was talking about, and I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I talked to anybody, put my drink down, and walked over there. And my brother was kind of angry, and there's a lot going on, but someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was, and my brother.
Hold up, you guys. 89 of y'all in here. Come on, show some love. Don't start that shit. I've been up in here, 21 days, I think 21 days streaming. Not, like every day, but damn near every day. Y'all come on and show some love to me.
I was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight," and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. Then I went to the ground. My brother put him in an armbar. And Nolan involved in any of this? Absolutely not. When I was over there was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, Nolan, I never saw Nolan over there. Absolutely not. And okay, sorry, I just lost my.
The minute they asked, was Nolan involved in that altercation, he lost his train of thought. But okay. Now let's pause right here. That was around 3 p.m. Tristan got into an altercation. Simultaneously, Warren's brother was involved in an altercation around the same time. Now, Warren nor Tristan have came out and said these altercations was connected. That's something that they have left out, by the way. They have never came out and say, "Yo, these altercations was connected." Because I think once you admit, "Yo, these altercations was connected," you would then have to say, "Hold on, bruh." So Warren, Tristan, 2 of Nolan's quote-unquote best friends, were involved in altercations and in fights. Nolan was with the group, but you didn't see Nolan nowhere in sight? I don't know, bruh. That don't seem. If my 2 best friends were involved in fights, the first thing you're gonna see me is running towards the altercation. Especially if we're in the same group, bro, we're all nearby each other. You get into a fight, your 2 best friends are involved in altercations, you not coming to check in on a best friend? My theory, in my personal opinion, I think Nolan may have been in more proximity to that quote-unquote altercation or that quote-unquote fight than they're leading on. But again, we can't prove that, so let's just continue with their timeline. But that's the first discrepancy. 3 p.m., Tristan was involved in a quote-unquote fight. Warren was involved in a quote-unquote fight. They have refused to say whether or not those 2 fights were connected. But what they're both saying is Nolan was nowhere near this altercation. He was nowhere involved. Even though his 2 quote-unquote best friends were involved in altercations near him, he was nowhere involved, that he never came over to check up on them or get involved.
You're ready to go. There's an issue with the boat. Okay, yeah. This is what up to that. So the fight happened. You got your brother or the scuffle. I'm assuming that it was cleared up. You got your brother out of this situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking? Well, I walk back over, and we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking anything about it. I pulled my brother off the beach. I was just like, "Listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down." I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, And so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom, and I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat, and no water's coming out, no access water's coming out, and it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there's so many people getting on and off the boat. At some point, the boat was very, very crowded, and there's just a lot of people on, so it drags water.
Yeah, that's not how boats work. Boats don't flood getting in and out of water. Mind you, I'd also like you guys to see that they are in much shallower water than they claim. But I digress. As someone whose parents have had several boats in their life, boats don't just start sinking because people are getting in and out of the water. I think they were trying to run as well because there is an underage kid who just got into a physical fist fight on the island. All of them are drinking and driving boats, so they're trying to hightail it out of there.
Nolan is 19 years old. Warren, I believe, is 19 or 20 years old. The oldest person there in that friend group was Bart, who was 21. But Warren claims his younger brother was much younger than them. Much younger, what, 3 or 4 years? So a freshman or a sophomore in high school. He was on the island, surrounded by underage drinking. Let's just say possibly, right, a freshman or sophomore in high school was also drinking. Any other case, there will be somebody in cuffs and in jail right now, which already tells you that there's collusion happening. Powerful people in that city is connected. This is a really small town. And these kids' parents are judges or doctors in this really small town. They must be connected to governors, mayors, government officials, sheriffs, because any other case, right, the person that's guilty of providing liquor to freshmen and sophomores in high school possibly, and freshmen in college, they will be in jail, especially when you take into consideration that the liquor, according to them, Nolan was sloppy drunk. Now, Nolan's mom says she don't believe it, but they said he was sloppy drunk. So according to them, Nolan was sloppy drunk, and that may have contributed to him drowning. In the other case, the person who provided, right, liquor would at the very least be charged with like delinquency of a minor. Like at the very least, at the most probably manslaughter, right? Because your actions contribute to the death of somebody else.
What you mean? Who is no name, buddy? Why y'all coming here with the weird shit? Don't come here with no weird shit. What are you talking about? You know exactly. Like y'all just get to asking questions. I don't understand it. Like you haven't been filing the case. Come on now.
No charges have been brought. But I digress. Let's get back to the timeline. 3 p.m. was when the altercation with Tristan and the altercation with Warren and his brother took place. Nolan, according to them, was not involved in the altercation whatsoever. He was nowhere around. But somehow, 3 p.m., when they said, after the fight, they hauled butt back to the boat to get him out of there. That's when they last saw Nolan, they said, at 3 p.m. So Nolan was close enough to where in a rush to get back, y'all see Nolan, but Nolan was not close enough to come to the rescue of his two best friends involved in fistfights and physical altercations. Okay, that's strange. Yeah, okay, right. So 3 p.m. was when they, quote unquote, last saw Nolan, which is also contradictory to them saying we was calling for Nolan to get back on the boat at 4:30. But let's continue with the timeline.
Now, Warren goes into so much detail that he accidentally explains what really happened, but not in the way that he was saying it.
I think every time we were out there for a couple hours, the boat started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater. And so the motor wouldn't turn down. I mean, my buddy would go to turn it down from the console, and it turned down, and then it come right back up.
Now, trimming the motor means they move the propeller closer to the transom and it lowers the bow, which means they can drive through choppy water without risking that choppy water to come into the boat. Failing to trim your boat up and taking off at a high speed can not only overheat very quickly and cause it to shore, but if waves are high, it won't cut through the wake and it will cause the boat to porpoise and possibly have rough, choppy waters get on your boat.
So, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out, and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like it wasn't like we were getting beat, really beat.
Now, as you can see, it is tilted up here in the back, and look how low the front is. He admitted that they hit choppy water at one point, so not that hard of a stretch to think that the water started coming over the boat, and that's when they were in trouble. That's when the bilge pump stopped working. Because Warren, when they claimed that they were leaving and he was jumping into action because it was sinking, he says this.
Maybe disabled so you could get it out. Correct. On island. So what happens after that? Wyatt jumps the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and you're sitting looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the water, the access water out of the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any access water just sitting in the boat wasn't getting pumped out. So I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge. It was eating with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm going to pull you all out.
So even though they were still on the island, he jumps out and throws out an anchor. Why did they pull the anchor up to begin with if they were sinking? If they were sinking, why was Bart offering to tow them out? Why would they risk being that close to the island and that close to ground to sink out further? Because again, look at how shallow of water these boats are in.
The reason why that's important is because if they tried to haul butt up out of there first and they went a little deeper and then came back once they realized, oh, yo, we're sinking, that matters because TMZ, Tatum, and all these people have been saying, oh, look, there's this photo of them. They're on the water, they're sailing away. Nolan is nowhere in sight. That could have been around 3 p.m. when they were trying to haul butt up out of there without Nolan, and then realized, oh, yo, we can't go nowhere, like we're sinking, and then came back to shallow waters. Because it wouldn't make sense to start off on shallow waters, realize you're already sinking, which, again, how can you sink on shallow waters? That makes no sense as well. But to realize, oh, damn, yo, we're on like shallow waters, we're near land, right? Like the boat is docked near land on shallow waters. We realize we're already like sinking, but we're gonna sail to deeper waters where we have where there's a chance of us to like fully get engulfed by the water. That wouldn't make sense, right? And how they describe it, where like the water was like overflowing the boat, that wouldn't happen where they were docked. Like that was like literally like shallow waters. Like, bro, you could see like, bro, like their feet, like the water don't go past like damn near like their ankles or something. So that photo could be undermined if they were trying to haul butt up out of there at 3 without Nolan, came back once they realized they can't, and then spent another hour and 30 minutes trying to fix this boat problem. And the only reason why that's important is because the narrative has now been, I mean, y'all seen the picture. There's no chance, impossible, that all these theories y'all are putting out there is true. Well, when you look at things like this, you can't rule out the possibility the boat may have came back within an hour and 30 minutes. Nolan may have been killed. Or Nolan may have been on the boat when they sailed off. Because the picture could very well have been from the first time they tried to get on deep waters. Because you wouldn't do that in the reverse. Now, we're not saying they did anything. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying you can't rule it out. You can't do these interviews and say, it's impossible. These people are only questioning us for ulterior motives. It's impossible. No, it's very possible. And these are things Tatum, who has been the sole interviewer so far, has refused to dive deep on. But let's get back to the timeline.
So what I suspect is that everybody just hauled ass and left, but because the trim was not going down, it overheated, that stalled out, then the crashing waves were freaking everybody out. But even Warren couldn't keep his story straight or his timeline straight because then listen.
All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm gonna pull y'all out. So we're around all this, all this chaos. We left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more, than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount, but it was crazy. Like there was a lot of people enough. I mean, eventually, Bart pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out.
So he says it right there, that Bart pulls them out, they leave at 4:30. And you may be thinking, well, he pulled them after, he towed them after, but...
We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat, or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so he was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get situated. So that's when Y called Cito.
We know that phone call was around 4 p.m. to the private towing company. Now, in my last video, I went into detail with the Bart, the fight, all of that stuff, the discrepancies between like the neck of water and then suddenly being in 31 feet of water, etc. I'm going to skip over that. Now, the last data point for the GPS was at about 8 o'clock that night. So then they go over to a female friend's house to go to the pool. And yet, instead of joining his friends in the pool, this is what Warren did.
At a lady friend's house. Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while, and all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We're talking about boats and stuff, and I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody, but so you talked to the young lady's dad, and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that, well, where's Nolan at?
All right, well, now I got to stop your ass, because what 18-year-old goes to a friend's house to party? All the friends go downstairs to the pool area, and he goes upstairs to talk to her father about boats. Mind you, these children had been drinking all day long, and he and his buddies don't go home until 3 a.m., mind you. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been 18, but that's a long day in the hot, in the sun, drinking. Sounds to me like you were talking to this dad to help with the story.
It's important to really go back and remind people of these really tiny details, because these tiny details like this have kind of like disappeared, right? As time progresses, as the story kind of progresses, these tiny minute details that are like very crucial has kind of disappeared. But the reason why that particular detail is important is because that's the timeline in which they figured out, wait, Nolan might be missing. So they get to this crib. He goes upstairs after drinking all day while partying to go talk to the only adult at the time around. Why you go upstairs to talk to the only adult? He says he was trying to talk about boats. Okay, cool, okay. Is it possible that he might have went upstairs to ask about advice for a tricky situation they might have been in? Possible. But when he comes back down after talking to the only adult around, he comes back downstairs and he walks into a conversation where they're just conveniently talking about Nolan Wells. They're just talking about their good old buddy Nolan. Now, I'll be real with y'all, bro. There's just too many coincidences lining up here that I think after a couple coincidences, you got to start asking what's a coincidence and what's not. Because what's not natural about this is, if I leave, let's say, my friend at a party, right? Let's just say I leave my friend at a party, right, at 4 p.m., right? And then I go about my day. I'm probably not thinking where my homie is, right? Right? Like, again, I'm just being real with y'all, bro. If I leave my homie at a party at 5 p.m. because my homie is talking to a girl, I'll probably like hit the homie up like the next morning, like, hey, bro, you feel me? Like, what's up? Like, what you on today? I'm not leaving and like at 8 p.m. Yo, bro, what's the homie at? That's not the natural progression of partying, especially if we all drinking and partying still. I'm probably not worried about where the homie is. But to go upstairs and talk to the only adult around for quote unquote board advice, again, we think it was for advice for a tricky situation, but that's just my opinion. Come downstairs and then conveniently walk into a conversation about Nolan, and then your mind automatically goes to the worst. Where's Nolan? He's missing. Call Coast Guard. Come on, sir.
And you go downstairs and your friends just so happen to be talking about Nolan, and then you're like, oh my God, I should call the Coast Guard.
Well, I went back downstairs and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talk about Nolan. And I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him?
It just seems pretty convenient that after his powwow upstairs with the father of his friend, he comes downstairs and then all of a sudden they start talking, have you seen Nolan? No, I haven't seen Nolan. Have you seen Nolan? Maybe we should call this person. We should call his mom. Almost seems like they actually go back downstairs after talking about what they should do about the situation with the dad or whatever it is they were really doing at that time, came downstairs and started talking about Nolan publicly so that everybody at the party could be organic witnesses to when the conversation happened. Because he kept contradicting himself. He kept saying, I wasn't too worried about it, but then also we know that they can kill people. But also, like maybe I would just call the Coast Guard, just to make sure it's okay. I'm so mad I didn't save it. But in one of these interviews, they said that Katie was supposed to come to the party with them later, which is why Nolan said he was going to hang back with her. So why would they dry snitch to their friend's mom before getting in contact with Katie? So as I was making this video, I caught something so big, it changes everything. Throughout this entire entire interview, Warren insisted that Bart's boat was a tide line. He was so sure of it, said it over and over and over again, claimed that there were 20 to 30 people on that boat. By the way he talks about boats and the equipment and stuff, it seems like he has some general knowledge of it and knows a lot about boats. So maybe y'all can tell me why in this report, when they gathered the GPS evidence, does it say that Bart was driving a tide craft, not a tide line? They're entirely different designs, purposes, manufacturing styles. Mind you, this is what tide crafts look like. They ain't fitting 20 people on them. This is more what tide line boats look like, y'all. So did Bart bring 2 boats with him? Warren said Bart's dad was originally supposed to go with them. And tide line boats don't fit 20 people either. So was there a 4th boat out there?
The reason why the idea of a 4th boat is really important is because when they say, hey, we got on a boat at 3 and we ultimately left at 4:30, and here is our complete GPS data so you could track us. That right there, the GPS data, has been the only verifiable evidence of their movements. So when they say this is when we left, this is when we hopped on, this is where we went, the GPS data has been the only empirical evidence we have to say, okay, yeah, we take their word for it. This is when they left. This is when they came. This is everything. But if there's been a 4th boat that has not been tracked, if there's been a 4th boat that has GPS data that we don't have, then that brings up the possibility there may have been more traveling to more places and more activities that we don't know about. That's why that 4th boat is important. And guess what? J. Megan uncovered more evidence there may have been a 4th boat. And again, it's really important because the GPS data from the boat they are talking about is the only way they've been able to say, here's our movements, here's where we went, here is how you track us in our activities. If there was a 4th boat that's being hidden, that's not being discussed, that's not being tracked, then there have been activities, there's been movements that we don't know about. And we must have all the information. And if information is being hidden purposefully, that's a reason for us to pause. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying there are possibilities. There are things we're not being told.
Not only have I found more evidence of a 4th boat, not only have I found a lie in their timeline, but I have also discovered a deep political connection, not only to a former governor of Mississippi, but to Turning Point USA. So first off, this picture has surfaced in which it's clearly the group of boats a little bit further out in the water altogether. Now here's what is supposedly Bart's boat. We can see the Garmin on top, can confirm this black boat from this other picture. We can see Wyatt's Triton right here, and we can confirm that by the motor. As you can see right here, has that black stripe on the white motor. Now in between the 2 boats is the Palm Beach. You can clearly see it labeled and it's got that stripe, right? As you can see, the stripe is there. And yet there's this design right here and no Palm Beach. And you may be like, Jay, that doesn't prove that it's a different boat. Maybe we just can't see it, even though it should be right there, according to this picture. But if you look in this video, you can see that there is a black propeller right there. See black propeller, and you can very clearly see the Palm Beach right there on the side. But if you look really carefully in this photo, you can see right there a black propeller. There's another boat on the other side of these 3 boats. And given the lack of the name on the boat and the black propeller, I'm going to assume the Palm Beach is on the other side, which means there's 4 boats right here. Then I rewatched Warren's interview.
I woke up at my buddy's house and we went to McDonald's, got food. No one was not with me. And I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck. And well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back. And the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went and with my buddies and we went, filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou Boat Launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day.
So Wyatt had his buddy's boat already hooked up to the back of his truck. He said he and Wyatt and his other buddy went and got ice and filled up the boats. And Wyatt went and put the Palm Beach, his smaller boat, into the water. And we know that there was a second boat, the Triton, that was driven by Wyatt. Wyatt had 2 boats in the water. Who was driving his other boat?
We don't know the patterns of that particular boat. We don't know the GPS data. We don't know where it went. We don't know who was driving it. But we're trying to figure out who was driving Wyatt's other boat. Let's go to the Cito call. Now, this is completely speculatory. This is just my opinion, speculatory, okay? When Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, somebody else was also on the phone with Cito at the same time. That person's phone call has not been released yet. There's been no transcripts for it. Nobody have heard the phone call, but it was Wyatt's grandfather. Wyatt's grandfather was the one who told Cito, oh yeah, y'all shouldn't come anymore. Don't call Coast Guard.
Allegedly, there's not going to be any transcripts because allegedly he, I think, called the guy through his phone because they probably know them. You know, like all those people know each other or whatnot. So, you know, the 911 operator didn't even know that somebody was canceling, right? So the guy he said that the grandfather said cancel, right? So now the dispatcher who's knowing some people are in distress, now she understands whatever it is. You know what I mean? So no. I'm sorry. Did it go that way? Hold up. Let me make sure. I think the Coast Guard guy, I did get it mixed up. He was not aware of, well, yes, he did. She was going to call him. So that's how she got involved with him. Okay. It did happen that way. I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry. Just got to make sure I'm clear. But yeah, it's a mess.
No, don't call Coast Guard. Now, if Wyatt's grandfather was on the island, if he drove the boat to the island, if Wyatt's grandfather, which I've seen this theory before where others have also pointed out Wyatt's grandfather may have been on the island, I don't know. But if Wyatt's grandfather was on the island, why have we heard very little about Wyatt's grandfather? If there's a mystery of who the other driver was of the boat, of Wyatt's boat, why was the grandfather on the phone at the same time that Wyatt was telling them not to bring Cito and not to bring the Coast Guard? Why was the grandfather even involved in this at all? Right? That don't make sense. But here's the Cito call confirming that Wyatt's grandfather was on the call at the same time that Wyatt was telling them not to come.
For your support. So the official sworn MDMR Marine Patrol report was filed as a non-criminal missing person report. Now, this was filed via telephone at 10:05 a.m. on July 5th, 2026. Two individuals are listed as involved entities. 21-year-old Bart Joseph Edmonston Jr. and Jerry Ralph Atkerson, which happens to be Wyatt's grandfather, i.e. the owner of the boat.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said that Jerry. Yeah, he said.
Yeah, I'm glad I was right.
Okay. I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now.
That call has not been released yet. We don't know what the grandfather told these people.
Because he probably made a cell phone call to the guy. That's why he didn't call 911. That's why you don't have no record of it, because he called the Coast Guard guy or whatever it is.
But all the questions to our answers is in that call. The grandfather would say, hey, I'm on the island, or hey, I'm at home. I just heard what happened. But why would a grandfather who's not there, who's at home, who's hearing about his grandson's boat is sinking, tell them, hey, don't go out there. We don't need you. That's information that you would probably know, or you will have more of a grasp on the situation if you were there and present, because Wyatt was on the phone with them. So Wyatt wasn't on the phone with his grandfather and Cito at the same time. So if Wyatt is telling Cito, hey, we need help, we need somebody to come out here.
So obviously Wyatt was not aware that his grandfather was calling for help. He listen, he had to call his grandfather before he called them, right? That's the only way the grandfather would know there was a problem unless he was out there, right, you guys? Just think about it. Like, how would he know something's going on unless he got the call first? Like, you got to think about it. Like, dang, this thing is a bunch of twisted. And it's all alleged again.
The grandfather is on the phone call at the same time saying, no, we don't need y'all to come out there. That would mean the grandfather would have been somewhere observing something. Because Wyatt can't tell the grandfather he's okay while telling Cito he's not okay at the same time. But if we get that call, which I'm going to request it, if we get that call, we'll know if the grandfather tells them, hey, I'm on the island, or hey, I'm at home. We will know the answer to that question. But them doing interviews and saying, well, this case is already sealed up, is already definitive, it's impossible with all the evidence that came out that we did anything, we don't know. Questions still need to be answered, okay? I honestly don't know. This is not me dog whistling guilt. This is me saying, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot that still needs to be answered. This case is far from closed and sealed.
Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart because we had a lot of friends from college coming down. And I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey, man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go. And I'll take the boat and I'll take you and your friends. Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock. And I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I. And Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people.
Now, wait a minute. So Warren already had a boat hooked up when he woke up that morning. I'm assuming that had to be the Triton that was hooked up, right? Then he said that Wyatt went and put his smaller boat, the Palm Beach, into the water. Then Warren said that he was the one who drove the Palm Beach to their friend's dock. Assuming that Wyatt drove the Triton to the dock and Bart drove his own boat to that dock, who drove the Palm Beach out to the water then? Because he said that he got a ride in with Bart, even though at one point during the interview, he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So it sounds to me like Warren was the one driving the Palm Beach. I'm also like, what parent would let their kid, who's obviously going off to party, take 2 of their boats and let their drunk friends drive? Like, it isn't making sense to me. I mean, maybe these parents are just shitty parents and irresponsible. Then he also said that he contacted Bart that morning to see if he could come. And Bart was like, yeah, I can give all your friends a ride, blah, blah, blah. According to him, there were 10-ish people, 15 people on that boat. So where were those people originally supposed to ride in on? They'd been planning it for weeks. They were excited about it. Why did Bart have to suddenly step in and take all these people? And remember, Bart said that his dad had canceled going out on the boat that day, so he could do it. Something's not adding up here. I think there was an adult somewhere in this mix. It would also explain how they all thought quickly on their feet with the sea tow. I wouldn't be surprised if an adult didn't come out there and just go off with other adults that were also on Horn Island and let the kids hang out with the boats. Here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. There are more GPS coordinates in the report than what we have seen publicly. I'm going to play you a clip from the interview, but remember, at 5:30 is when they started picking up regular speed, all right? It's right here, 5:25.
Here's where this boat situation gets even weirder. When Warren did his interview with Officer Tatum, Warren said, as you heard earlier in this video, but I will remind you, that the last time he seen Nolan was with Katie, right? He had Katie in his arms. They was having personal time. And because of that personal time with Katie, they had to leave Nolan because Nolan chose not to go with them. He wanted to stay with Katie. Even though Katie said the last time she seen Nolan was when they was calling Nolan over.
It's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone.
And so you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3:00. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled at,
Y'all, that
yelled
Katie
for Nolan,
girl.
Nolan,
that Katie girl.
get on the boat. we're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on.
Y'all see do y'all see how he say Nolan was his best friend, but the other guy is his buddy? Like, I'm confused on how they determine who's the best friend and who's the buddy. You know what I mean? A buddy to me is a person I'm cool with. It's no way I'm cool with someone and they letting me borrow their boat. Like, the language, the way they talk is like strange to me. You know what I mean? Like, I not heard one time my friend, my like one of my best friends, my friend, and he kept saying his buddy. So that means that Nolan was not friends with the guy if he keeps saying buddy, right? I don't know.
If Nolan didn't get on the boat because he was with Katie, well, what if I tell you there may be evidence that Katie was on the boat? Would that change your mind on where Nolan was?
Make sure you go and watch it, but I'll give you a quick little rundown.
Here you go.
Swimsuit, white backwards baseball cap, teal swimsuit, white
She was on the
baseball
boat,
cap,
allegedly.
red shorts, red shorts, red shorts. Bart's boat, girl in striped swimsuit, standing right next to a long-haired girl in a teal swimsuit, striped swimsuit.
A girl in a teal swimsuit was Katie, by the way. That's evidence you see of Katie's on who boat? You do with that information as you may. If Nolan was with Katie and Katie was on the boat, then where was Nolan in that time? Y'all let me know in the comment section, okay?
Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think that's Katie? Let me know. Allege. Do you think that was Katie? Like, oh my God. Listen, people can buy the same swimsuit, but they can't buy the same body frame when it's natural. You get what I'm saying? Now, if she wasn't if they was not natural, I think all of them are playing games with us on the internet. And they're just playing games. I look at body language. I look at how they look. Just imagine, and if they didn't do it, Lord have mercy, these children are going through so much ish right now, y'all. I'm not gonna even lie. And it's really not funny, but I know somebody knows what happened. And I ain't gonna say it was an accident, because if you acting in a barbarian behavior and you flash out and hurt somebody or go to the extreme to unalive them, you're trying to show dominance over that person. And that, to me, is not an accident. You're trying to embarrass that person. Whatever the case is, I'm not gonna say it's an accident. I'm just not gonna say it. Y'all keep using those terms. Whomever that person is, I hate to say it, it's gonna go down. It's about to go down. Okay, 10 minutes ago. Let's see. This my boy. I like
another one, y'all. This is another photo that was recently released that is going super viral right now, and it is said to be a picture of someone holding someone else up. As you can see, it looks right like here, his arms is under his arms. What people are saying allegedly
those are arms
is Nolan Wells. But what I'm saying is, why would everybody just sit there and stare? Why no help?
It's because whatever just happened to him, they sitting there trying to figure out, is he okay? Because if that is him, he's passed out. So they're not thinking something is wrong. Oh my God. Like, what the hell? Y'all, I never looked at that. That might be Photoshop. I think they're playing with us. I think they playing with us. Y'all, they playing with us. I know they playing with us, but these look like two arms, y'all. So I don't know. Like, But look at this girl. She's turned the opposite way. So this is what they're doing. They might be photoshopping, right? And they're blurring the pictures. Y'all know all these pictures that we've been seeing. We see everybody but Nolan. We see everybody clear but Nolan. That's bullcrap. He's the darkest cat, one of the darkest cats out there. There's no way in the world you don't have clear pictures of this good boy. Like, this stuff might be photoshopped out.
What is going on here? So I asked myself, could he be saying that he is intoxicated? Could he be saying that my buddy is always getting wasted as an excuse? I don't know, y'all, but I tell you this, by the grace of God, we back and we got a lot to cover, because not only did the Cajun Navy release another photo, we got more people on TikTok dismantling them three cowards.
And let me tell y'all something. They're releasing those photos to make you think like he was drunk. That shit Photoshop. I'm letting you know. It's Photoshop. They're trying to go the narrative like alcohol alleged was a contribute to him being unalive or something. They're trying to use that. And they go like, we got him out the water and he was da-da-da-da. They're playing a game with us, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. This is a game. This shit Photoshop. Why is the Cajun Navy releasing photos and not the police? Think about that.
That was recently on the Brandon Tatum podcast. And y'all ain't gonna want to miss this one. Before we get into it, y'all make sure y'all hype this video. Y'all make sure y'all subscribing. Oh, I want to give a shout out to brother Umar John.
Hold on. Fuck him. Because he talks a lot. He haven't did nothing like a movement. Not one time, but he criticized everybody. My thing is, and he can talk real well. He gets to the point, but I need to see you more proactive, buddy. But anyway, you guys, I got 109 people in here. I need some likes, some love, some sharing, some something. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
Dr. Umar Johnson has recently shared a video that we did the other day reacting to his interview with Art of Dialogue. Y'all make sure y'all check that interview out. It's an amazing interview, but let's get into it, y'all.
I am about to wipe Evil Murr's smile clean off his face because this man is a joke. So yesterday I was playing with the contrast in this picture to try and get a better picture of the pattern on Morgan's swimsuit. I realized that half of this picture is not changing at all when I play with the shadows, which is an indicator to me of a photograph being altered. So then I started scrutinizing this picture because why would I ever have reason to doubt it before? And then that's when I noticed this boat seam underneath all of their legs. You can almost trace it all the way until you get to Nolan. Not only are these creases in different places, but there's no shadow, nothing underneath his legs here. In fact,
there you go.
Look really closely, make sure your brightness is turned all the way up. You can see a seam right here that just stops. And that would connect over here. Then I saw in between this elbow here, look, there is so much fabric that's supposedly his shorts. Like, why does this shadow suddenly stop? You can see a seam here and then nothing. And then look at the way Nolan is holding this can. Got one finger like over the lid, but the can looks really like wide. And then his thumb is on the other side of the lid. Like, how would you hold something like that? Now look at this half of the picture. Notice how Nolan's head is casting a shadow going to the left. Same with Eric here. Head casting shadow to the left, which means right where I am on the screen would be the direction that the sun would be coming from. And yet his shadow is going straight down and his shadow is going straight down and to the right, implying that their light source, their sun is coming from over here. So is this picture fake? Then I started looking at the photos that they gave to Officer Tatum. Why is Nolan a giant? He and Jax are literally almost the same build and height. And I understand that perspective's a thing, but no.
She do not play. She don't play. She don't play. God dang.
Not when they're this close to each other. Well, when the camera is right here. And look, same problem with this one with the shadows. Shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going straight up and down, shadow straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, to the left. And this jacuzzi tub looks normal at first until you zoom in. First off, why is his elbow blending into his hat? And whose face is that? Because that looks like AI tried to recreate this guy.
Yeah.
This is another picture of Nolan with them. And I'm like, why does his eyes look swollen shut? Why his neck as big as his head? But get ready, folks. I'm about ready to blow their little he wasn't on the Triton picture out of the water. Because right here is Morgan's swim trunks. You can see his like beads here, his glasses, his hat. But I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on in this picture. Then I was comparing these two videos and I realized, oh wait, it's a visor. It's a visor hanging off of this. See, there's the bill and like the little like part there. But as I was comparing these two pictures, something hit me. Look at black part, metal, white plastic, metal, visor. Black part, metal part, white plastic, no metal pole. Look at the steering wheel. The steering wheel has this like
wow,
thing that's going on here.
Wow.
What? No, wait. But look, there's the door. There's the door. What's going on here with this leg? I don't know. Now, do you guys see it? Can you see it? Vertical bars, horizontal bars, vertical.
She cracked the code. She told my guys, bro. Everybody was saying
what
there was
do
something
y'all
up because
think?
they have on the same clothes. They doctored it. This is why they be coming after her, bro.
Horizontal. And it's not just that the vertical bars are missing. There is no horizontal bar like right here. But not only that, y'all see how there's like this curved bar here?
It's
Where's the
curved.
bar in
It's
this picture?
curved.
It should be going right next to the hat, like right into it. And yet we have nothing here. And I know y'all have lots of questions and I can't pretend like I have any answers to them.
This is probably why he putting that Tatum tag right
Now,
here.
do you guys?
So we won't see certain things.
Wow. Damn, y'all.
Shit, bro.
Wow, y'all. I gotta listen to this issue.
Yo.
Hold up, y'all. We gotta replay.
You see these joints?
Wait. We gotta go back. Y'all, we gotta go back. We gotta go back. Y'all, hold up, y'all. Y'all have to get in this chat and tell me what the hell y'all think. I'm not even playing right now.
Make sure y'all check that interview out. It's an amazing
F
interview. But let's get into it, y'all.
I am about to wipe Evil Murr's smile clean off his face because this man is a joke. So yesterday I was playing with the contrast in this picture to try and get a better picture of the pattern on Morgan's swimsuit. I realized that half of this picture is not changing at all when I play with the shadows, which is an indicator to me of a photograph being altered. So then I started scrutinizing this picture because why would I ever have reason to doubt it before? And then that's when I noticed this boat seam underneath all of their legs. You can almost trace it all the way until you get to Nolan. Not only are these creases in different places, but there's no shadow, nothing underneath his legs here. In fact, if you look really closely, make sure your brightness is turned all the way up. You can see a seam right here that just stops.
Y'all, they've been going after her since this case. She went out there. She showed us the island. She drove around everywhere. And they've been, oh my goodness, she said, F them. Do what you gonna do. I don't have ish anyway. We ain't scared. TMZ had to say, look like she don't care. She don't. And the rest of the creators don't care either. But I'll get her name. I'll get it.
And that would connect over here. Then I saw in between this elbow here, look, there is so much fabric that's supposedly his shorts. Like, why does this shadow suddenly stop? You can see a seam here and then nothing. And then look at the way Nolan is holding this can. Got one finger like over the lid, but the can looks really like wide. And then his thumb is on the other side of the lid. Like, how would you hold something like that? Now look at this half of the picture. Notice how Nolan's head is casting a shadow going to the left. Same with Eric here. Head casting shadow to the left. Which means right where I am on the screen would be the direction that the sun would be coming from. And yet his shadow is going straight down and his shadow is going straight down and to the right, implying that their light source, their sun, is coming from over here. So is this picture fake? Then I started looking at the photos that they gave to Officer Tatum. Why is Nolan a giant? He and Jax are literally almost the same build and height. And I understand that perspective's a thing, but no.
She do not play. She don't play. She don't play. God dang.
Not when they're this close to each other. Not when the camera is right here. And look, same problem with this one with the shadows. Shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going straight up and down, shadow straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, to the left. And this jacuzzi tub looks normal at first until you zoom in. First off, why is his elbow blending into his hat? And whose face is that? Because that looks like AI tried to recreate this guy.
Yeah.
This is another picture of Nolan with them. And I'm like, why does his eyes look swollen shut? Why his neck is big as his head? But get ready, folks. I'm about ready to blow their little, he wasn't on the Triton picture out of the water, because right here is Morgan's swim trunks. You can see his like beads here, his glasses, his hat, but I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on in this picture. Then I was comparing these two videos and I realized, oh wait, it's a visor. It's a visor hanging off of this. See, there's the bill and like the little like part there. But as I was comparing these two pictures, something f***ing hit me. Look at black part, metal, white plastic, metal, visor. Black part, metal part, white plastic, no metal pole. Ooh, look at the steering wheel. The steering wheel has this like white flat thing that's going on here. What? No, wait. But look, there's the door. There's the door. What's going on here with this leg? I don't know. Now, do you guys see it? Can you see it? Vertical bars, horizontal bars, vertical.
She cracked the code. She told my guys, bro, everybody was saying that was something up because they have on the same clothes. They doctored it. This is why they be coming after her, bro.
Horizontal. And it's not just that the vertical bars are missing. There is no horizontal bar like right here. And not only that, y'all see how there's like this curved bar here? What?
It's
Where's the
curved.
bar in
It's
this picture?
curved.
It should be going right next to the hat, like right into it. And yet we have nothing here. And I know y'all have lots of questions and I can't pretend like I have any answers to them.
That's probably why he putting that Tatum tag right
Now,
here.
do you guys?
So we won't see certain things.
Oh wow. Y'all.
Shit, bro.
Y'all shit. Look, my leg is rocking, y'all. You heard me? This is sad.
You see these joints?
See it?
And I'm sorry,
Can
I
you see
follow
it?
her, but I don't know her name. But I
Look
know
back
that
here.
everybody's been using her.
This supposed to be going this way. See this right here? Where's that right here? Yo, this the back of it. Yo.
Vertical bars, horizontal bars.
Oh my God, bruh.
And it's not just that the vertical bars are missing. There is no horizontal bar like right here.
Yo, tell me y'all remember the movie Problem Child. Do y'all remember the guy that be yelling? His name is Mr. Peabody. There you go. There you go.
It takes a big man to admit
Oh,
his
you want
mistake.
his name or you want?
This is called "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked."
Y'all look, y'all. I want
In my
y'all look at the before picture and the after picture. This is the second interview. This was the first video. The size. Just look at. Oh my God. Black America is crazy. Y'all, we are the worst when it comes down. Do not play with us. Oh my God. Like all the Photoshop stuff they're putting out, we're just knocking it. Well, people are coming together and we're just supporting it. You know what I mean? You know, everything's still alleged. We don't know if someone did something, but this young man, he appeared to be bigger. And I don't know, maybe it's football or whatever he does. You know, I don't know if the line of work may have him looking a little smaller. Who knows, right? Alleged.
Opinion. He is wasting away. Literally, something is eating him from the inside. All on account of not speaking out, not snitching. And mind you, it just took a month for this to happen. Confession would lighten the load, my dude.
Now we have Elmore, who is Nolan's father, who said that Nolan would have never stayed behind on Horns Island to be with a girl or anywhere for that matter, and that he most definitely would have not left without his cell phone. Now, we already knew that, so that was no surprise because, of course, like who would just leave their cell phone even when you're telling someone, oh, leave me, I'm going to stay behind, but you can keep my phone, like make it make sense. So anyways, and then Christine also says that as far as she was concerned or them, they never saw any other boats out there or was aware of any boats on the water the night that Nolan Wells went missing on July the 4th. She also said, because remember the cell phone tower was also in question. And she said that once she arrived on Horns Island, they walked the entirety of Horns Island while she was on the phone with her grandmother, had a perfect, clear conversation, could hear fine, no static, no breakups, no nothing, with the grandmother who was in panic while they were searching for Nolan Wells on Horns Island, the entirety.
Bombshell tonight in the Nolan Wells investigation. Tonight, the timeline seemingly blows up. This as Nolan's mother is investigated. Why? And tonight, possibly even more important, where is Nolan's phone?
Well, from my understanding, authorities do not have it, and the family have not been cooperating with authorities to give the phone over.
Brandon, you may very well be a lot smarter than me, but I can hear. Okay. The statement was, we're prepared to cooperate, I guess, from Crump.
But it's best to have both cloud and the phone to paint the entire pattern of behavior and to see the truth.
Somebody saw something, somebody knows something, and they are not coughing it up. And we're going to keep on until they do.
So the thing that bothered me, one, it was prejudgment. Second, the parents of the guys that were with him started talking about they was going to sue us for getting involved. And sue, I don't even know the kid's name. So you can't say I defame your son. I don't know your son's name. But I will say this on this stage, I want them to sue me first. And I'll tell you why.
Talk to him, Al.
Because I want to depose your son. If you sue, the plaintiffs are deposed. So rather than us depend on a Mississippi DA who's already had people saying it was no foul, let's go to civil court, any kind of court you want to go to, because you can't make this make sense. And direct to your point, Tiffany, as I said in the eulogy that I did, I don't know what happened. The parents never said they knew what happened. They never said it was racial. I don't know it was racist, but they don't know it wasn't racist. You don't know what happened. So why are you prejudging it unless something is there you don't want out? So I said in the eulogy that I don't know what happened, but I got your history in Mississippi.
I'm starting
and the history tells me black boy go out with three white kids, three white kids come back. There's a blurred story on what happened. Now y'all all hostile and all upset. Didn't have the keys, but then you had the keys. Some about this don't make sense given your history. And I'm gonna stay on this until we find out what happened. It may be nothing, but we're not gonna leave that up to chance with people that are distorted. We gonna stay on this case.
So me and my sister are, cleaning up, and this is about 8. And she's like, hey, no one hasn't texted us. And that was the thing. No one was really big with communication with us, right? And so I call him, doesn't answer. I end the call. Call back, and this is probably, I think, maybe around 8. Don't quote me on the time.
And that's where they might have got her phone number before they
so then I call again later around 8, still no answer. And then I want to say I called one more time, and I think that was at 10:48. So I'm in the kitchen, my phone rings. Now this is probably early 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. Phone rings when I make it back to the phone, and I'm like, whose number is this? Because, we get weird phone calls sometimes. They didn't leave a message. Number pops back up. I pick up the phone because it says maybe Warren. And I'm like, Warren? So this is 11:07. That's per my cell phone records. So I answered the phone, and he's like, hey, Miss Free.
Oh, listen, she called Nolan. Then they called her back. So obviously when she called her number or whatever may have came across the phone, y'all, this is not making sense. And then he called back later.
Christine, have you seen her talk to Nolan? I said, no. Why? He should be with you guys. And he said, oh, no, well, you know, when we went to the island, there was a girl named Katie that he met and he had decided to stay behind. And I said, what?
Nah.
Because we know our child. And Nolan isn't one to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind.
Well, I don't know if y'all got kids or not, but that one that's guilty, he or she will hurry up and come to adult like, that's what he did. To hurry up to try to clear his damn name. I'm telling you, for those that got kids, you know what I'm talking about.
And Nolan isn't one to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to stay here with this girl that I just met. So I'm on the phone with him. Now I'm in a panic. I'm running to my room. Elmore was in bed watching a different movie. And I'm like frantic. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, Nolan is missing. I'm trying to pull up the GPS as I'm talking to him. And at some point he tells me that, I was like, well, you know, his phone says GPS Life 360, not Snapchat.
Right.
Life 360 says that he's on land. And he was like, well, no, I mean, you know, well, we have his phone. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, okay. Because at that point, you're telling me, this is coming from Warren, don't worry about it. We're going to find him. It's going to be okay. Don't tell me not to worry. This is my child, my flesh and blood that I brought into this world. And you're telling me not to worry. Absolutely not. He leaves that day with, he drives his car.
Your little young ass gonna tell me you got my son's phone. Then your little young ass gonna sit up there and call me, ask me, have I seen him? You got his phone, and you gonna tell me not to worry? And you don't even got no kids? You's a little, oh my God.
But we're right now where we have two parents, lovely parents, I've gotten to know them, that really don't have an answer to a question. Is it a civil rights violation or not? And we do not know. How do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play?
I'm going to say this, y'all. Whatever happened to him, now just think about it. If they did, you know, left for whatever reason, whatever the reason, right? Someone still saw him. Someone still knows what happened to him, no matter what. Whoever the gonna be the fall guy, just come on out. Come on out. And they say they seen him at what, 5 now, 6 now. At first nobody was saying nothing. Now all of a sudden they're putting stuff out there. These people are lying. I believe in between 3 and 4, something happened to Nolan. Something happened to him. Damn right. Something happened to him, not at 6, not at 5. He was in my opinion, I think he was nowhere left on this earth in between 3 something and 4 something, max. This barbarian behavior gotta stop. I'm not talking about, oh, we in 2026, we still got it going on. Yes. Every time something happens, we in 2024. We in 2025. Yes, yes, yes. These women, some of these women, not all of them, but these white women got to learn how to raise their kids a little bit. It's time for y'all to talk to your kids and raise them better. I know. See, they trying to limit it to a small group. Then when they talk, they try to put themselves not around him at the time. And that's what they're being taught to do. They keep saying, I seen him, then I didn't see him. Well, I was over here, but Nolan wasn't here. They making it clear, like they don't want to put themselves nowhere in the time stamp with him. Like every time they talk. That to me, that's too much. Like I said, I don't know. Like I think he invited him. If it wasn't a setup, right? I think he invited him, but these people are so tight knit fathers know fathers. Not saying no name. And I think it's some big dogs. You know how people do stuff and they turn a blind eye? And now my child did something. You damn sure better turn a blind eye. I believe that, and this alleged that, you know, the weight loss look like weight loss there. He's stressing because he's put in a situation. His parents, I mean, if that's the case, they don't understand this young generation is weak. I'm telling you. And his parent, if they're making him hold some information, guys, been not even a whole 2 months. And this young man, just imagine, he probably not even eating. He's probably nothing right now. You get what I'm saying? He's probably not eating. He's probably not resting well. Because if you saw somebody get unalive, it's your mental is no longer there. The younger generation is weak, and no matter how they talk all that shit, they're weak. If it was I don't even know the words to say, but this shit crazy.
When you haven't even investigated whether it was foul play, how do you trust people that come back from something that happened and never really give you a straight story of what happened, including you have the keys to the car?
Right.
So when you have more questions than answers, you have to have people that will drive the answers out, and that's what we do. And that's why I've been involved, and that's why we stay involved. And it gets worse and worse and worse. The parent of one of the boys threatening to sue us for asking a question. Imagine that now. Some of y'all call it, what do you feel about the parents? One of the boys said he's going to sue you and Ben Crump. Sue us for what? For saying what happened? So we've gone back that far. And that is why we're going to stand with these parents, because usually, you know, I come from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised there. I don't come from the South. But my mother used to bring me down south to my grandmother in Dothan, Alabama. And Congresswoman, my grandmother told me, you see that pen over there? I said, yes. She said, that's a pen of hogs and pigs. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, always know something. If you take a brick and you throw it in that pile, the hog that hollers is the hog you hit. There's too much hollering going on in Mississippi.
Talk to him out.
I can't figure out which one we hit, but we hit something. Because now they talking about lawsuits. They threatening this threatening a mother of a child.
They screaming too much. All the content creators, do not stop reporting on this. We can't quite find out where it is, but we hitting somebody. When we throw that brick, he said, my grandmother told me if I throw that brick, the pig that yells the loudest, that's the one I hit. He said, we hitting somebody. We hitting them, but we don't know who it is. That's why we cannot stop reporting on this. We are hitting somebody. We just don't know who it is, because it's a lot of screaming going on in Mississippi. For them to be innocent, they doing way too much screaming. How you going to sit up there and call Miss Christine Wonsley? Have you heard from No? You got his phone. And you on a podcast, you doing donations from the Gifts and Go? Bro,
you know what's funny? It is funny because he called the mama. Instead of him saying, no, we have Nolan's phone, and Nolan haven't called us to either pick him up or something, you call his mom and say, did he call him? Nolan will call his phone first. Don't y'all think? Don't y'all think he will call his phone first, right? These people think about it crazy.
Too much screaming out there. You got Trump lawyers and shit. It's too much screaming. We done hit somebody, y'all.
That I can tell you, look at those photos. Nolan Wells is not on that boat.
The photos to me are very convincing. Let's see the photo they're talking about again.
Yes, I'm glad we agree about that. I'm glad we agree.
Do I know what time that was or what day that was? Is there a timestamp? Look,
Yeah, it was
I'm
around
not
4:30.
saying either of you are lying. I'm saying this is how I would test evidence in court. I mean, I take everything with a box of salt. When was that taken? Where was it taken? What time was it taken?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is it timestamped?
And Nancy,
Well,
you've been
Nancy,
trying this case for over 30 days. The facts are the facts are the facts.
Just answer the question, Muvia Fiokiar. Yo, she asked you a straight up question. Do you have the timestamps? You cannot sit up there and say something is facts if you don't have the timestamps. They're totally avoiding the question. And I want y'all to see something somebody pointed out. Look how they got the prompts and the promotional hats that say call Cox in the background. Y'all see that?
These boys had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells.
That wasn't a question.
Okay,
Listen,
when was
we
the
don't-
timestamp on that video?
Nancy, I'm going to answer it this way.
Yes.
We don't think that you're accusing us of lying. We don't feel that way. We're just simply saying this. And it's okay. You're asking legitimate investigative questions. And we don't fault you for that. But here's what we're saying. It's been over 30 days. There has never been one shred, one iota, one piece, nothing. There is no evidence that ties Warren, Morgan, or Jax to any crime because
Warren has the phone. Warren has the phone.
They did not commit a crime. They had nothing
may very well
whatsoever
be
to
true.
do. Right.
And
there's
again,
nothing.
was timestamp on that video.
But that's not our burden. See, that's the problem. You're putting this burden on us. All right. There's never been one piece of
you
evidence.
did that to yourself, Paul, when
No,
you
we
said,
didn't.
here's the boat that day and he's not on it. That may very well be true. That may be
well, no,
absolutely
we
true.
didn't- we
And
didn't
I'm
do that
saying,
to ourselves.
when was the video
What?
taken?
Well, no, I'm telling you.
Around
that we have
4:30,
multiple-
July 4th.
Yeah. And I'm telling you another thing, Nancy. We have multiple witnesses, and we're going to protect their names on the air here. We're not going to air out
think
a
you
private
should.
list of witnesses. We are. We're going to protect them. So I want to emphasize that as well. The witnesses that we're talking about, we're not going to do that to them. We're not going to name them.
You said
here on
that
the
3
air.
times
We're
so
not
they can
doing
stick in
that.
y'all head.
I'm not
Y'all know
asking
that, right?
you to.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you are.
I'm asking you
But we're
again
not-
when the timestamp is on that video. But if you don't know, I'm not saying that that's wrong or right.
Well, I'm not.
I'm saying
No,
I want to know to corroborate that video.
I understand that, but that's not a relevant question for your present guest since we didn't make the video. But I can tell you this.
Okay. Well, you showed me the video, and that's why I'm asking. Okay, let me ask you something else.
But you representing the damn video, the video or the photo like it's yours. Like that's your shit. So you should know the background of the photo.
Warren, Jax, and Morgan, y'all in danger, girl. Because why would your lawyers go on Nancy Grace and say this?
You think these are actions of 3 boys who, 1, keep their story straight, 2, don't snitch on each other, and 3, have made and had to have made to defend themselves?
Y'all heard him say, keep your story straight and not snitching in a case like this. Y'all need some new lawyers ASAP.
Look, that's the end of the video. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about these damn defamation attorneys.
Okay, y'all. Tell me what you think. Come on, y'all. We'd had some good conversation going on all day. Tell me what y'all think. Okay, let's see what Trent got to say.
Nolan Wells' phone is being held back and kept away from Mississippi police, authorities, and the DA. But the Mississippi DA seems to be holding back Nolan's throat from Dr. Roger Mitchell, the doctor doing the independent autopsy. This might be a cat and mouse game. It looks like they're playing tit for tat. Also, thanks to Nancy Grace, we finally have an answer to a question I've been asking almost every day on this channel, and that is if the alleged picture or video of the boat is real. Y'all remember the picture/video we got from Officer Dingbat? Former Officer Dingbat. Also, TMZ thinks they're slick sending Charles, the token black guy, over to Don Lemon to backpedal and to try to save TMZ from being blacklisted. And ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Thanks to the Congressional Black Caucus, the FBI has officially been put on notice to review the Nolan Xavier Wells case. There has been a ton of developments over the past 24 hours in the Nolan Xavier Wells case. Sit back, relax. I'll tell you everything you need to know, and then I'll hand it off to you, the out louders. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. The Congressional Black Caucus urges Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel to launch a federal review of Nolan Wells' passing. I love this. A lot of people have been asking for it, and also a lot of people have been confused about what is going on with the FBI and the federal government. For those of you who don't know, Horn Island, where Nolan was found, is actually federal land, and the FBI has been kind of like tiptoeing around this. Some people think they were involved or not. This puts them officially on notice. Let me show you the letter. More than a month has passed since the tragic disappearance and passing of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells, and his family is still without fundamental answers about what happened to their son. The Congressional Black Caucus stands with the Wells family and joins their call for a full, transparent, independent, and timely investigation into the circumstances surrounding Nolan's disappearance and passing. It is unacceptable that so many questions remain unanswered as the Wells family continues to suffer for what is already an unimaginable loss. Now, the letter goes on. We're just going to cover this from now. I have even said on my channel that I do not trust the FBI and I don't trust their involvement in this, because we all know how things get down with Kash Patel. He takes his marching orders from Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was very active when Nancy Guthrie went missing, but he hasn't said anything since. So he hasn't said anything about this case. So I'm not hopeful. But what I do like about this strategy, and what I would implore you all who are watching this to like as well, because I heard a difference of opinion on this, is the fact that they have been put on notice and it's been official. This will hold a lot of weight if it comes back in Mississippi where, hey, you know, we did our investigation and we have determined that there's no foul play and Nolan drowned. Now the Congressional Black Caucus and Nolan's family could now hold the FBI to a higher standard to say, hey, we asked you before we even got the ruling and you guys didn't do your job. And they could just go on from there. So this is a very, very, very good strategic play on the side of the Congressional Black Caucus, Christine Elmore, and their lawyers. This is very, very good. Now, let's move on to, you know what? Let's go on to TMZ, and then we're going to talk about the phone. We're going to talk about Nolan's throat, and we're going to talk about the interview on Nancy Grace with the young men. We're not calling them boys. Nolan's former friends, the young men, their lawyers. We told you guys about little Eddie yesterday and Tyler. We're going to call him a little Tyler and little Eddie. It was a disaster. Nancy Grace completely obliterated them. And we finally got an answer to a question that I've been asking for a long time. And the answer, oh, trust me, is not good for the other side. As you are all very aware, I have been dragging TMZ almost daily for their biased reporting and what I would say is actually just horrible journalism for the things they've been putting out with Nolan Xavier Wells. We have documented that on this channel and all of my socials, and I've gotten a lot of support from other content creators when it comes to that. Now, we now are seeing that pressure get to TMZ because Charles over here was sent over to the Don Lemon show, and you're going to see for the first time, TMZ is backtracking on their statements when it comes to the young men, Nolan's former friends, and TMZ's stand. You're going to hear Charles say that he thinks they are acting weird.
The friends are on a PR. PR blitz to change public opinion because they believe that they, in the court of public opinion, they're not doing so well.
I think it's weird. And now they've got this lawyer and they're sitting down and doing interviews. It's weird to me. People are going to say things on the internet. Why does that rise to the level of you need an attorney to now sit down and do interviews to publicize yourself, to try and change the court of public opinion? Why do you care about a court of public opinion?
TMZ is caving to the pressure, and now they want to come over on this side. Nah, bro, you picked a side. Stay over there, homie. Y'all think you were slick sending the black guy to a black YouTuber, Don Lemon, and you thought they were gonna like forgive everything that you said for the past month? No, it didn't work when you sent former Officer Tatum, and it's not gonna work now when you're sending Charles. All right, so let's keep score. Officer Tatum's 3-4 interviews, not moving the needle. Nobody's feeling sorry for you. You're sending out Charles to Don Lemon, that's not working. Okay, now let's see what the two lawyers are going to do. You guys went to Nancy Grace? No, that was your first mistake. You'll see pictured right here beside me, Nancy, little Eddie, still wearing the Carl Cox hat. And then you also see Tyler, which now we're going to call him Little Tyler, okay? Now, Nancy starts off this interview hot. Nancy asked these two lawyers, who, once again, are the lawyers who are representing Morgan, Jax, and Warren, the same three boys that interviewed, that former Officer Tatum interviewed just yesterday. We played that for you. Now, Nancy says, has these boys taken a polygraph? Now, I edited this out because it was blah, 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 a million excuses, all to get to, no, they haven't.
Joining us tonight, Tyler Cox, the lawyer for several of the young men with the law firm Taylor and Cox, him being the Cox. Also with us, another veteran trial lawyer, Edward Pulsick, attorney for the boys as well. Have your clients taken polygraphs?
Nancy, my clients have not taken a polygraph test.
Tatum said they did.
Because
no, they haven't. Okay, before I play the next clip for you, I want to know if you guys caught something in the background of where Tyler was sitting, the guy without the cap. If you didn't catch something, I'm going to put up a picture here for you right now and see if you notice something in the background. Look for a bottle. Okay, you see that bottle of Verdict? Where have you seen that bottle before? Let me put up another picture of former Officer Tatum. You see that bottle in the background? Let me explain to you what that is. That is a paid sponsorship. You see in Officer Tatum's picture up in the corner, it said Verdict. Like that was actually a, they call that a watermark, okay? And the bottle in the background. You know what's going on? Officer Tatum and his team work with Verdict to sponsor the former Officer Tatum's YouTube show or podcast, whatever you want to call it. And now Verdict is going out and saying, hey, when you guys are going on talk, we want to pay you for sponsorship. So Tyler, little Tyler, the lawyer who's supposed to be defending these boys, is now taking sponsorship from Verdict. Does this look like lawyers who care? Now, we already totally told you everything about Little Eddie yesterday and how he is Donald Trump's former lawyer and how he works with TMZ, with Ashley Janae, Joel McCann, et cetera, et cetera. We already let you know the type of guy he is. Now we know who Little Tyler is. Taking sponsorship dollars to go on Nancy Grace to defend his clients. These are the type of people who we're working with. Okay, now let's move on to the second clip. And Nancy asks Little Eddie, how Little Eddie got involved in the case. And you're going to hear the blatant. Now, a more clever lawyer would try to kind of beat around the bush, but not become so evident. Or so obvious. Listen to Little Eddie's response.
Edward, how did you get involved in this case?
Well, I'd rather not talk about that. I can just tell you this. I can tell you that
y'all look at him, his eyes.
A friend of a friend.
You're kidding, right? You're kidding me.
You see his little smirk there? This is why I do not like this guy. Okay. Let's move on to what I thought was a very, very key part of the interview. Nancy brings up the two alleged witnesses that I am very suspicious of because we only heard about these two witnesses that claim they saw Nolan on the island at 6 p.m. We only heard about these two witnesses once Jeanette Brantley cleaned up the audio and enhanced the audio from the Cito call, and everybody thought that Nolan was on the boat. That same day or the next day, ABC comes out and says, we have two eyewitnesses. Very, very suspicious. On a case that everything is supposed to be sealed. We don't get any information, but now we hear about two witnesses as soon as.
Okay, y'all, it's 104 you guys in here. I have 33 likes. Come on now. Look, I'm short. I'm short like 70 likes. Thumbs up, something. Come on, let's show some love. Thank you.
We hear the Cito call because they wanted to quiet down the temperature. So that already has me like, So Nancy asked about these two alleged witnesses, and Nancy completely tore them apart here. Nancy says, listen, I am a trial attorney, and I know what to do with key witnesses and when I put them up on the stand. And Nancy highlighted things that she would say in front of a jury if the prosecution wanted to bring key eyewitnesses. Nancy says, first of all, do these two eyewitnesses, do they know Nolan? Because how are they able to identify? Do they know him? How long have they known him for? Then she would ask, how far away were you to identify Nolan? Were you 10 feet away? Were you right up front? Were you having a conversation? Were you 50 feet away? And she says, by the way, this is in the law books, that these are things that are legally allowed to ask, okay? Was there sufficient lighting? She said it was 6 p.m. Was it lighting? Was it getting dark? Was it whatever? She also says, what were the conditions? Another key factor is, were they sober? Were they of sound mind and body at that time when they saw Nolan? Now, anybody who you speak to about this 4th of July, what is the one thing everybody says? Everybody was having a good time and drinking. By 6 p.m., these two witnesses, what state of mind were they in?
Sorry, yeah.
A good lawyer, and trust me, Nolan's family is going to make sure, especially Christine and Elmore, they're going to make sure that they have the best of the best. A good lawyer will tear up these two witnesses on that stand. Did you have anything to drink today? Yeah, boom. You're already done. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Then they go back to distance, glasses, or whatever, etc. Now, here is the answer that little Tyler and I think little Eddie chimes in. Listen to their answer of the two witnesses.
I can confirm to you that these witnesses know Nolan. They've known him for a long time. They were able to make a positive ID, and they told that to investigators. They told them that from the very start.
Had they been drinking?
That I do not know.
How are they sure it was 6 o'clock? How do they know it was 6 o'clock? Did they go, oh, there's Nolan Wells at 6 p.m.?
Well, I'm pretty sure, Nancy, they were aware of the time.
How?
Tyler,
no phone,
here's my
no
question
what?
to you. Are these witnesses friends of your clients?
I don't think they're friends, and they're not even the same age.
Okay. Next question. How many witnesses place him there on the island at 6-ish?
At least 2 that I know.
2. Do the witnesses know each other?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Were they together that day?
Yes.
Notice in that clip, Nancy asks, does these two witnesses know your clients? Do they know Morgan, Jax, or Warren? And they say,
I don't think they're friends, and they're not even the same age.
You notice how there's no direct answer there, and then he just went to age? Okay. Also, a thing that I would have loved Nancy to ask is, haven't we heard of thousands of people on the island? If there was thousands of people on this island, and let's just say there's even a little less by 6 o'clock, how come only 2 people saw Nolan? Like, we hear like there's no trees, there's no obstruction, it's just one big open area. You're telling me on an island with a bunch of white people, there's one black kid there, and you're trying to tell me only 2 people were able to identify and see Nolan on an island with a bunch of people? Very, very suspicious. Okay, now let's move on to a topic that I have been talking about for days on this channel and my socials. The very, very important picture/video that, if true, would exonerate the boys, because this picture/video they claim was taken July the 4th when Warren was on the phone with Cito. And if Nolan was not on that boat, then that exonerates them. Okay. Nancy asked them the same thing I've been asking them. How do we know when this picture was taken? Do we have a timestamp? Listen to the answer.
I can tell you, look at those photos. Nolan Wells is not on that boat.
The photos to me are very convincing. Let's see the photo they're talking about again.
Yes, I'm glad we agree about that.
Do I know what time that was or what day that was? Is there a timestamp? I mean, I take everything with a box of salt. When was that taken? Where was it taken? What time was it taken?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is it timestamped?
Hey, Nancy, you've been trying this case for over 30 days. The facts are the facts are the facts. These boys had nothing to do with the Nolan Wells.
Okay, when was the timestamp on that video?
Nancy, I'm going to answer it this way. There is no evidence that ties Warren, Morgan, or Jax to any crime because they did not commit a crime. They had nothing whatsoever to do. Right.
And
there's
again,
nothing.
what's timestamp on that video?
But that's not our burden. See, that's the problem. You're putting this burden on us. All right. There's never been one piece of evidence.
You did that to yourself, Paul, when you said, here's the boat that day and he's not on it. And I'm saying, when was the video taken? I'm asking you again when the timestamp is on that video. I'm saying, I want to know to corroborate that video.
I understand that, but that's not a relevant question for your present guest since we didn't make the video. But I can tell you this.
Okay, well, you showed me the video, and that's why I'm asking.
I can tell you, look at those photos. I can tell you, look at those photos. I can tell you, look at those photos.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is safe to say that picture / video, because I actually think it's actually a live picture. If you notice, they're not even really moving around there. A video, people would be moving, the water would be moving. I think it's safe to say that picture / video
it's a picture.
was not taken
Every
when they
picture
claimed it was taken. Because
y'all, everything we've been seeing is Photoshop. Everything. Stick to the call. Stick to what we heard, not these pictures. Listen, why would the police be allowing the Cajun Navy to put these photos that considered hindering and messing up the investigation? This is planned. Stop listening. Stop looking at pictures. These pictures are fake. The girl I had on earlier, I can go back and find, and I'll show you guys again. She showed how they Photoshop. It is Photoshop. I listen. You ain't gonna make me believe it's not Photoshop. You understand what I'm saying? They're Photoshop things to keep us off the trail of whatever it is. The call is, they put the call out. And guess what? It was not intentionally. They put the call out not knowing that someone would go and listen to the actual call and get the background rhetoric in the back. They didn't anticipate that at all. See, let me tell you something. When they get Nolan's phone, if these machines do not F them over, they're going to find what he had. Because I don't know, I know that the Snapchat, it goes there and it leaves, but I don't know if it saves to your phone. And more than likely, y'all, if he has Google, those pictures are bagged up. They should be bagged up, y'all. Even if he was on Snapchat, I know he took pictures. Because I have 20-year-olds. They take pictures. Telling you. Them children don't care if them phones fall in the water. Because guess who gonna go get them another one? They mama. And they know it. So y'all can stop. Y'all, we got 114 people in here. Thanks for the love. I'm going to go back to the previous video so the new people can see how these pictures are photoshopped. So y'all won't be thinking like whatever. I believe this girl. I believe her. Let me finish it.
As you all know, Officer Tatum told me he was going to send it to me. I have it in my DMs. I showed you guys a bunch of times. He hasn't sent it to me. Harvey on TMZ, when I was on there, he said, yeah, I saw it. Okay, cool. Send it to me. He hasn't sent it to me. And now Nancy Grace has asked these young men's lawyer when the picture / video was taken, where's the timestamps? And they can answer the question. And that is why they are going to hinge their entire case on these two witnesses that we still know nothing about. and that any good defense lawyer could literally rip to shreds. Put me in the courtroom. I will totally destroy these two witnesses and ruin their credibility, and no jury will take their word. I'll tell you right now. Okay? So this is looking good for our side. Okay? If these are the two lawyers that we got to go up against, yo, you put me in there, man. I could win the case. Okay? Now.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we finna get back off this because this is what I want to do, right? Hold on one second. I want to go. Where's my boy? I don't want to see her. Where is my boy? Let me go back to history so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to go back to that video. Let me go back to history, see if I can find it. TMZ. It Kush. It's him. I think this is it right here.
Another one, y'all.
Okay, I want y'all to look at this again. We're going to replay it, and I'm going to get up after this.
Photo that was recently released.
All this is
going
fake.
super viral right now, and it is said
Photoshop
to be a picture of someone holding someone else up. As you can see, it looks like his arms is under his
Photoshop.
arms. What people are saying allegedly is Nolan Wells. But what I'm saying is, why would everybody just sit there and stare? Why no help? What is going on here? So I asked myself, could he be saying that he is intoxicated?
Yep.
Could he be saying that my buddy is always getting wasted as an excuse? I don't know, y'all, but I tell you this, by the grace of God, we back, and we got a lot to cover, because not only did the Cajun Navy release another photo, we got more people on TikTok dismantling them three cowards that was recently on the Brandon Tatum podcast. And y'all ain't gonna want to miss this one. Before we get into it, y'all make sure y'all hype this video. Y'all make sure y'all subscribing. Oh, I want to give a shout out to brother Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson has recently shared a video that we did the other day reacting to his interview with Art of Dialogue. Y'all make sure y'all check that interview out. It's an amazing interview, but let's get into it, y'all.
I am about to wipe Evil Murr's smile clean off his face because this man is a joke. So yesterday I was playing with the contrast in this picture to try and get a better picture of the pattern on Morgan's swimsuit. I realized that half of this picture is not changing at all when I play with the shadows, which is an indicator to me of a photograph being altered. So then I started scrutinizing this picture because why would I ever have reason to doubt it before? And then that's when I noticed this boat seam underneath all of their legs. You can almost trace it all the way until you get to Nolan. Not only are these creases in different places, but there's no shadow, nothing underneath his legs here. In fact, if you look really closely, make sure your brightness is turned all the way up, you can see a seam right here that just stops. And that would connect over here. Then I saw in between this elbow here, look, there is so much fabric that's supposedly his shorts. Like, why does this shadow suddenly stop? You can see a seam here and then nothing. And then look at the way Nolan is holding this can. Got one finger like over the lid, but the can looks really like wide. And then his thumb is on the other side of the lid. Like, how would you hold something like that? Now look at this half of the picture. Notice how Nolan's head is casting a shadow going to the left. Same with Eric here. Head casting shadow to the left. Which means right where I am on the screen would be the direction that the sun would be coming from. And yet his shadow is going straight down and his shadow is going straight down and to the right, implying that their light source, their sun, is coming from over here. So is this picture fake? Then I started looking at the photos that they gave to Officer Tatum. Why is Nolan a giant? He and Jax are literally almost the same build and height. And I understand that perspective's a thing, but no.
She do not play. She don't play. She don't play. God Dang!
Not when they're this close to each other. Not when the camera is right here. And look, same problem with this one with the shadows. Shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going straight up and down, shadow straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, to the left. And this jacuzzi tub looks normal at first until you zoom in. First off, why is his elbow blending into his hat? And whose face is that? Because that looks like AI tried to recreate this guy.
Yeah.
This is another picture of Nolan with them. And I'm like, why does his eyes look swollen shut? Why his neck is big as his head? But get ready, folks. I'm about ready to blow their little he wasn't on the Triton picture out of the water. Because right here is Morgan's swim trunks. You can see his like beads here, his glasses, his hat. But I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on in this picture. Then I was comparing these two videos and I realized, oh wait, it's a visor. It's a visor hanging off of this. See, there's the bill and like the little like part there. But as I was comparing these two pictures, something hit me. Look at black part, metal, white plastic, metal, visor. Black part, metal part, white plastic, no metal pole. Look at the steering wheel. The steering wheel has this like white flat thing that's going on here. What? No, wait. But look, there's the door. There's the door. What's going on here with this leg? I don't know. Now, do you guys see it? Can you see it? Vertical bars, horizontal bars, vertical.
She cracked the code. She told my guys, bro, everybody was saying that was something up.
And I believe that too. I believe that they put him into a chokehold, trying to embarrass him over a girl, and they overdid it.
Because they have on the same clothes. They doctored it. This is why they be coming after her, bruh.
Horizontal. And it's not just that the vertical bars are missing. There is no horizontal bar like right here. But not only that, y'all see how there's like this curved bar here? What?
It's
Where's the
curved.
bar in
It's
this picture?
curved.
It should be going right next to the hat, like right into it. And yet we have nothing here. And I know y'all have lots of questions and I can't pretend like I have any answers to them.
This is probably why he putting that Tatum tag right
Now,
here.
do you guys?
So he won't see certain things. Yo. Shit, bro. Yo. You see these joints?
See it?
Look.
Can you see it?
Look back here. This supposed to be going this way. See this right here? Where is that right here? Yo, this the back of it. Yo.
Vertical bars, horizontal bars.
Oh my God, bruh.
And it's not just that the vertical bars are missing. There is no horizontal bar like right here.
Yo, tell me y'all remember the movie Problem Child. Do y'all remember the guy that be yelling? His name is Mr. Peabody. There you go.
It takes a big man to admit his mistakes.
This is called Ain't No Rest for the Wicked.
Know what just happened. I made a mistake and kicked out of here. I'm gonna put it back. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's get back to the business. Hold on one second. Let's get back. Hello, let's go back a little bit. I'm sorry about
bar like right here.
Yo, tell me y'all remember the movie Problem Child. Do y'all remember the guy that be yelling? His name is Mr. Peabody. There you go.
It takes a big man to admit his mistakes.
This is called Ain't No Rest for the Wicked.
And yes, X, I know that y'all on here. It takes a minute for it to come back on. I know you guys are in effect over there on X. It's just not showing my numbers, but let's go.
In my opinion, he is wasting away. Literally, something is eating him from the inside. all on account of not speaking out, not snitching. And mind you, it just took a month for this to happen. Confession would lighten the load, my dude.
Now we have Elmore, who is Nolan's father, who said that Nolan would have never stayed behind on Horns Island to be with a girl or anywhere for that matter, and that he most definitely would have not left without his cell phone. Now, we already knew that, so that was no surprise because, of course, like who would just leave their cell phone even when you're telling someone, oh, leave me, I'm going to stay behind, but you can keep my phone, like make it make sense. So anyways, and then Christine also says that as far as she was concerned or them, they never saw any other boats out there or was aware of any boats on the water the night that Nolan Wells went missing on July the 4th. She also said, because remember the cell phone tower was also in question, and she said that once she arrived on Horns Island, they walked the entirety of Horns Island while she was on the phone with her grandmother, had a perfect, clear conversation, could hear fine, no static, no breakups, no nothing, with the grandmother who was in panic while they were searching for Nolan Wells on Horns Island, the entirety.
Bombshell tonight in the Nolan Wells investigation. Tonight, the timeline seemingly blows up. This as Nolan's mother is investigated. Why? And tonight, possibly even more important, where is Nolan's phone?
Well, from my understanding, authorities do not have it, and the family have not been cooperating with authorities to give the phone over.
Brandon, you may very well be a lot smarter than me, but I can hear. Okay. The statement was we're prepared to cooperate. I guess from
here, it's best to have both clouds.
I have 118 people here for some reason. My numbers are not showing on X, but thank you guys for hanging in there from TikTok to Facebook. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It'll appear in a minute. It just got to catch up, I guess.
And the phone to paint the entire pattern of behavior and to see the truth.
Somebody saw something, somebody knows something, and they are not coughing it up. And we're going to keep on until they do.
So the thing that bothered me, one, it was prejudgment. Second, the parents of the guys that were with him started talking about they was going to sue us for getting involved. And sue, I don't even know the kid's name. So you can't say I defame your son. I don't know your son's name. But I will say this on this stage, I want them to sue me first. And I'll tell you why.
Talk to him, Al.
Because I want to depose your son. If you sue, the plaintiffs are deposed. So rather than us depend on a Mississippi DA who's already had people saying it was no foul, let's go to civil court, any kind of court you want to go to, because you can't make this make sense. And direct to your point, Tiffany, as I said in the eulogy that I did, I don't know what happened. The parents never said they knew what happened. They never said it was racial. I don't know it was racist, but they don't know it wasn't racist. You don't know what happened. So why are you prejudging it unless something is there you don't want out? So I said in the eulogy that I don't know what happened, but I got your history in Mississippi. And the history tells me black boy go out with 3 white kids come back. There's a blurred story on what happened. Now you're all hostile and all upset. Didn't have the keys, but then you had the keys. Some about this don't make sense given your history. And I'm going to stay on this until we find out what happened. It may be nothing, but we're not going to leave that up to chance with people that are distorted. We gonna stay on this case.
So me and my sister are, cleaning up, and this is about 8. And she's like, hey, no one hasn't texted us. And that was the thing. No one was really big with communication with us, right? And so I call him, doesn't answer. I end the call. Call back, and this is probably, I think, maybe around 8. Don't quote me on the times, guys. So then I call again later around 8, still no answer. And then I want to say I called one more time, and I think that was at 10:48. So I'm in the kitchen, my phone rings. Now this is probably early 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. Phone rings when I make it back to the phone, and I'm like, whose number is this? Because, you know, we get weird phone calls sometimes. They didn't leave a message. Number pops back up. I pick up the phone because it says maybe Warren. And I'm like, Warren? So this is 11:07. That's per my cell phone records. So I answer the phone. And he's like, hey, Miss Christine, have you seen or talked to Nolan? I said, no. Why? He should be with you guys. And he said, oh, no. Well, you know, when we went to the island, there was a girl named Katie that he met and he had decided to stay behind. And I said, what? Because we know our child. And Nolan isn't one to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind.
Well, I don't know if y'all got kids or not, but that one that's guilty, he or she will hurry up and come to an adult like, that's what he did. To hurry up to try to clear his damn name. I'm telling you, for those that got kids, you know what I'm talking about.
And Nolan isn't one to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to stay here with this girl that I just met. So I'm on the phone with him. Now I'm in a panic. I'm running into my room. Elmore was in bed watching a different movie. And I'm like frantic. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, no one is missing. I'm trying to pull up the GPS as I'm talking to him. And at some point he tells me that, I was like, well, you know, his phone says GPS Life 360, not Snapchat.
Right.
Life 360 says that he's on land. And he was like, well, no, I mean, you know, well, we have his phone. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, okay. Because at that point, you're telling me, this is coming from Warren, don't worry about it. We're going to find him. It's going to be okay. Don't tell me not to worry. This is my child, my flesh and blood that I brought into this world. And you're telling me not to worry. Absolutely not. He leaves that day with, he drives his car.
Your little young ass gonna tell me you got my son's phone. Then your little young ass gonna sit up there and call me, ask me, have I seen him? You got his phone, and you gonna tell me not to worry? And you don't even got no kids? You's a little, oh my God.
But we are right now where we have two parents, lovely parents, I've gotten to know them, that really don't have an answer to a question. Is it a civil rights violation or not? And we do not know. How do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play when you haven't even investigated whether there was foul play? How do you trust people that come back?
Nations from the give and go, bro, it's too.
Yes, I'm glad we agree about that. I'm glad we
do
agree.
I know what time that was or what day that was? Is there a timestamp? Look,
Yeah, it was
I'm
around
not
4:30.
saying either of you are lying. I'm saying this is how I would test evidence in court. I mean, I take everything with a box of salt. When was that taken? Where was it taken? What time was it taken?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is it timestamped?
And Nancy,
Well,
you've been
Nancy,
trying this case for over 30 days. The facts are the facts are the facts.
Just answer the question, Muvia Fiokiar. Yo, she asked you a straight up question. Do you have the timestamps? You cannot sit up there.
And y'all, this is Liquor Baller. And if you look at Tatum's, he has the same brand. So obviously they are being sponsored while they're trying a case. So go look at the videos. You're going to see the same bottle and name in his background. That's crazy.
There and say something is facts if you don't have the timestamps. They're totally avoiding the question. And I want y'all to see something somebody pointed out. Look how they got the prompts and the promotional hats that say call Cox in the background. Y'all see that?
These boys had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells.
That wasn't a question.
Okay,
Listen,
when was
we
the
don't-
timestamp on that video?
Nancy, I'm going to answer it this way.
Yes.
We don't think that you're accusing us of lying. We don't feel that way. We're just simply saying this. And it's okay. You're asking legitimate investigative questions. And we don't fault you for that. But here's what we're saying. There is no evidence that ties Warren.
I'm sorry. I'm hitting buttons for whatever reason. Like, it's like this thing is sensitive, but I'm finna get off because I want y'all to see that these pictures are being photoshopped and they're being put out so that we can act like we didn't hear the audio. The audio was not intended for us to hear what was in the background. They never thought we were smart enough. Well, the couple of people, the engineer who, you know, it's a left and right side when you're recording. So she separated them. That's how she was able to hear all the stuff on the recording. And they're trying to make us forget it. So thank you so much. Oh Lord, X. And I know that you're on here. My number's just not reflecting because I hit it again and it'll pop up in a minute. But y'all got to get off. I got to work. I got to do some things. I just opened up a online high school K through 12. So you guys, if you have not got your diploma, come holler at me. Please holler at me. Inbox me, DM me. We can get back on the right track. I did everything. I went back to school. I did everything I was supposed to do. I got my degrees. I got whatever I needed to do to make sure my kids know that if I can do it, you can do it. You get what I'm saying? So y'all have a great day. Thank you guys for being here and supportive. Thank you so much. Facebook, Gossip Column, y'all been in the chats like white on rice tonight. Thank y'all so much. And also X, y'all view, and I see y'all, I see y'all when I go over there to X. Thank you guys. Make sure y'all follow because I'll be back on tomorrow. Sure will. Have a great day.
Looking for a K-12 education that goes beyond the textbook, right from the comfort of home? Welcome to a new standard of online learning.
Beyond general education, our students dive into specialized virtual labs for real-world job readiness. Genealogy lab, historical lab, civil law, and our media and public speaking lab.
We prepare global citizens with immersive Spanish and French language tracks. And because we're proudly Florida-based and Step Up certified, families can access the elite education through state scholarship programs. Diverse representation, academic excellence, and career readiness, delivered entirely online, wherever you are. Secure your child's spot today. Secure your child's spot today. Visit our website to enroll.